Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final stream of the season. I'm incredibly excited, a little bit emotional, a little bit sentimental. I mean, it has been an incredible season. My first season on YouTube, and for me personally, as a result, it's been an absolutely incredible season, one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So I've absolutely enjoyed it. I know for a lot of people, it's been a little bit taxing. Maybe you've struggled a little bit with how many double game weeks you've had, all of the rescheduling. But what I would say is this is the final game week of the season. Let's have some fun with it. Let's try our best to enjoy it, regardless of your rank, regardless of whether you actually get a green arrow or not. Try your best to enjoy the moment. All of the games on at the same time. It's always incredibly exciting. And yeah, let's just have fun with it. Let's keep a positive attitude, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a green arrow on the final game week of the season, and we try to get the best possible position in our mini leagues and also the best possible overall rank as well. This is going to be a bit of a monster live stream. We've got 2.5 hours till the deadline, so plenty of time to get around to answering your questions. And then, of course, we'll probably stay on until the team sheets, which will be half an hour after the deadline, and we'll be able to look at all 20 team sheets at once. So it will probably be like a 3-hour live stream. So kick back, make sure you've got a drink of some kind, alcoholic or not, I don't mind. It's probably 5 p.m. somewhere in the world. And also make sure you got some food with you, and make sure that you have your tabs open, your team there, and you can start doing some tinkering as I hopefully provide the best possible advice that I can for you guys. So as always, because we've got 2.5 hours, just take a few minutes to just say hello to everyone. So if you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the stream, and also in the chat, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm always interested to hear where across the world you guys are tuning in from, and it's always it's very, very international. It tends to be anyway. So we've got True Fandela in the chat, of course. Paul, let's go. Hold tight, people. Here we go. So exciting, the final stream of the season. Clive in the chat. Good to see you, my man. All the way from New Zealand. Will Richarlison start? Great question. I think he'll be fine, but there have been a few rumours. We'll discuss all of that. Liam in the chat. Good to see you. Ramesh, any comments on your midfield? I'll get around to that in 2 seconds. True Fandela, I will get back to that highlighted message as well. Got John Scott in the chat. Good to see you. Morning, Ross. What a season. It has been an incredible season. A long one, a taxing one, as I said. But I've loved every second, to be honest, even the highs and the lows. And that's part of FPL. And you've got to try and enjoy the process, haven't you? Andre in the chat, head of security. Good to see you, my man. I think Maddison will be rested, Barnes to start. I don't know what he's been rested for. There's absolutely nothing left now. I think there'll be less rotation than we potentially are thinking at first. I think we might be okay. Famous last words. Hello, we're finally here. Good day, Mac. Good to see you, Mario. What on earth are we going to do after today? I don't know, Joe. We might have to actually speak to our friends and family. It's disgusting, isn't it? I don't want to speak to people. That's why I play FPL. No, we enjoy our summers. Enjoy our summers and get those things done that potentially we've been procrastinating with because we're playing FPL. For me, my PhD needs to take priority over the next sort of couple of months whilst we've got a bit of time off from FPL. Thanks for a great season, Ross. You've helped me an awful lot. I'll certainly be buying membership next season. That is what I love to hear. Thank you, Rory. I appreciate your support all season. Good to see you, Alex. What a ride. It's been crazy. Like I said, I'm feeling like excited for the final days. Do you know what this reminds me of? It always does. This is like the final day of school. I don't know how long ago it was till you guys went when you went to school, but it's that final day of school when you're excited. You've got like those rose-tinted glasses on where you're like, oh, it was actually an amazing season. But there were a lot of lows throughout the season. But it's just, yeah, it's a really exciting game week. It always is 38. And because all of the games are at once, there's so many mixed emotions. I was chatting to some of the members last night on like a Discord chat. And I was saying it's crazy because you'll get 2 of your players will score a goal. And as you're trying to celebrate your 2 players scoring a goal, 3 players with high effective ownership that you don't own will all score. And you're not sure whether to celebrate. You're like checking your rank and it's going up and down and up and down. I guess my advice would be, if you can, just don't check your rank during the games and just try and switch off, because obviously you can't affect anything during the games anyway. As soon as the deadline's happened, that's it. So if you can, sit back, watch whatever you're going to watch, Andy's watch along stream, or whatever you're going to watch, Sky Sports, do that, and try not to look at your live rank because it will be going up and down so much throughout the games. Yeah, so many people from around the world, Australia, Norway, love to see it. I'm not gonna get too soppy on this stream, but just in case people tune in and out, for the 400 people that are already here, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in throughout this season, for watching all of the content, for tuning into the live streams. If you're a member, if you like the videos, comment, or even if you just watch it and you've never liked or commented on a video, I still appreciate you. And I have so much planned for next year. We're going to up our game even further. There's going to be more content, better content, and hopefully we'll continue to grow this amazing community. Okay. Where is the shirt and tie? Yeah, I didn't go full on formal. I thought it's best to be relaxed, you know? It's best to be as relaxed as possible. So, just before we jump into showing you my team, having a little bit of chat about that and then answering your questions, I do just want to give a quick shout out to SPITCH because they have sponsored the live streams pretty much all season. So I do really, really appreciate that. And if you'd like to do one final thing to support the channel, of course, apart from being here and chatting in the chat, just please have a think about maybe giving SPITCH a go. It's the final game week of the season. It'll give you something fun to play as well as your own team. You can basically build almost a free hit team. So the best thing about SPITCH is that it's a free hit team every week. So every single week you build a different team. It's weekly fantasy football and you can pick different formations. And as I always say, different players that aren't useful in FPL, such as the likes of Rodri, Fabinho, those kind of players, they're very, very useful in SPITCH. So it's just an exciting game to play and you can play it for free. I play the free competition every week. The one you can see I'm playing now is completely free to play. There are paid versions, so we have to say 18 plus, please be gamble aware. However, just play the free ones if you want to. And just give it a go, and it massively helps support me, and it's more likely that SPITCH will want to continue to partnership next season. So you can see the team that I'm currently building on the screen. I'm going pretty heavy on the Spurs defence, and I'm also going pretty heavy on the likes of Leicester, obviously Chelsea, Liverpool, City, as you would expect. And what I like to do with SPITCH is I almost bet against my own team, just because if my own team doesn't do very well in FPL, at least my SPITCH team does. So give it a go. First link in the description will take you there. There's no pressure to do it. If you don't want to give it a go, that's absolutely fine. Just want to give a massive shout out to SPITCH for sponsoring the videos all season, and thank you very, very much. Without further ado, I haven't made any transfers yet, so it's not particularly exciting. If you've watched my team selection video, you'll know roughly how I'm sitting going into 38 anyway. My plans have changed slightly. Let's just talk sort of through the team, and then, like I said, I will get on to answering your questions. By the way, I've just seen that Liam has dropped a super chat already. Thank you very much, Liam. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for supporting the content all season. I massively, massively appreciate it, and hopefully see you tuning into the content next season as well. So for my team, it's not in a bad position at all. There are definitely teams there are definitely managers with better teams going into 38. I am not under the impression that my team is particularly special. I know that there are a few holes in this team, but generally speaking, I think I'm only one transfer away from it being a decent team, and I'm probably only two away from it being close to the ideal team. I'm not desperate to take a massive hit, I'll be completely honest, but I don't know. I just seen Steve's just said, are you doing a Raptor? I know a lot of people are associating me with being very hit-seeking, and I take massive hits. The only reason I took hits earlier on in the season is because there are a lot of double game weeks. And when there's double game weeks, and I want to make this clear, and I'll talk about this in the season review, I'm a big advocate of taking a hits if there's lots of double game weeks. For example, if you're bringing in a player that has a double-double, right? Someone that, for example, someone that doubled in 36 and 37, for me, that is an excellent time to take a hit, because if you're bringing them in for someone that doesn't double in either, you're getting 2 extra fixtures. For me, taking a hit in a single game week, and especially taking a hit when you've only got 1 game week left, that makes significantly less sense to me. So I'll be honest, unless we get loads of team news early that I've got all of my team are missing out, there's absolutely no chance of me taking more than a -4 at the moment, right? It's -8 is almost definitely not going to happen. -12 would never happen. And to be honest, I'm not even really considering a -4 at the moment, unless we get some early team news. So putting that all together, I'm currently planning 1 free transfer. I'm happy with Schmeichel. I'm happy with the defence. I would like to have Reece James and Robertson, but you can't have everyone at the end of the day. The 2 weak spots in my midfield are actually Zaha and Saka. But what I love about Zaha and Saka, and this will go for any of you guys that are thinking, should I take out Zaha? Should I take out Saka? Number 1, both got decent underlying data over the recent weeks. Saka in particular is continuing to put up good non-penalty expected goal involvement. The second thing is they're both playing at home against defences that aren't fantastic in United and Everton. And then the final thing is they're both on penalties. So when I look at my midfield, Son and Mount are absolutely excellent options. Son's currently got the armband. Then I look at Zaha and Saka, both at home, both on penalties, both with good underlying data playing against weak defences. It's not too bad, actually, is it? Like, you could definitely do worse. Vardy could quite easily get the armband. I'm very happy to own him again. If we get early team news that he's not starting, maybe I take him out for someone like Kane or Lukaku, if Lukaku's starting. Realistically, it's either going to be Tony in for Watkins, or it'll be Sessegnon in for Cash, and I'll bench Watkins, and I'll play a 5-4-1. So those are my planned transfers at the moment. Probably Tony in for Watkins, and then just leave it there. And then hope that the likes of Richarlison, if I need them, that he at least starts. Outside of that, it could be Cash to Sessegnon. And then if I'm feeling slightly risky, maybe I make 2 transfers for a -4. So let me know in the chat, what would you do with my team? That's the current plan. I just think I think that Tony is a fantastic option. I was maybe put off by him because not that it's a boring option, but you guys let me know. Tony seems like a very obvious transfer, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. Tony's got good data. He's on penalties. He's playing against a very, very weak Leeds defence. And again, if Brentford go 1-0 up, Leeds are going to have to go all out. They have to win this game. So for me, I'm looking at it and thinking Tony could be a fantastic option. And again, Tony's got this beef with Leeds. He doesn't like the Leeds fan. He doesn't like the Leeds team. So I think that could be a pretty exciting transfer, even if it is quite obvious. And then I do like Sessegnon, but of course there has been the news that Sessegnon might be suffering with a stomach virus. So I want to try and get confirmation before moving for him. Let me know what you do though, guys. I'm just going to answer some of the super chats because we had 3 or 4 come in. Got one from Syax, says, James, Cash, Coutinho, Richarlison in my team with 15 points off the top in my mini league. How many hits should I take and also which teams to prioritise? Realistically, you can bench 3 of those, right? James is fine. Even if he doesn't start, I'd still maybe keep him. He can do damage off the bench. Richarlison, I guess you could start if we get confirmation that he starts. I don't think you need to take several hits here. I would be looking at a -4, maximum -8. And I would be prioritising Leicester, Chelsea, Spurs. Right, those would be the 3 teams that I'd be prioritising personally. The likes of Maddison, Barnes, Mason Mount, Havertz. I think Havertz could be an excellent, excellent option. I've got a feeling that Havertz starts ahead of Lukaku, in which case I'd love to have him in my team. So yeah. Got a super chat from Frosty. Good luck, everyone, today, and thanks for the awesome season. PS, still time to get Welbeck in. Thank you very much, Frosty. I know he's out at the moment with family. Terrible double booking. Who books to spend time with the family on Game Week 38 deadline? The family need to understand the priorities that FPL comes first. Thank you very much. And yeah, so Frosty's one of our members. He's actually top of our mini league. I think he's about 1.6k rank. So he's currently top of the Rap Tier mini league for all of the Rap Tier members. And he's got a good feeling about Brighton assets. So if you want a top manager's opinion, he's currently looking at bringing in either Welbeck or Trossard. I think it was. I think Welbeck. And yeah, that's an excellent shout. Welbeck's underlying data, as we'll discuss a bit later, is absolutely brilliant. Got another super chat from OP Talent. Thank you very much. There's Zaha and Martinelli, Ericsson and Burmo, or Diaz, Mount, Foden, which? And KDH, play one of Broja, Veghorst, KDH, or minus. Okay, God, there's loads of questions there. Out of Martinelli, Ericsson and Burmo, I actually like Burmo, but probably Ericsson's got the best data at the moment, so maybe lean towards him. And then out of Diaz, Mount and Foden, I think all 3 of those are fantastic options. Mount's got the best fixture. Diaz has the slightly better data. So I would probably say Mount, Diaz, Foden. And then playing one out of Broja, Veghorst and Dewsbury Hall, I'd probably go for Veghorst. Veghorst they have to score. Burnley have to win this game. So I'd maybe lean that way. Hopefully that helps. Got a highlighted message from Andre. No questions, just a big thank you to Ross and all the other Raptors for a wonderful season. Let's get the plan in next season. Thank you very much, mate. And I appreciate all of the Rap Tier members throughout the season. If you are a YouTube member or a Patreon member, I've loved every second of interacting with you guys. Got a super chat from Murphy, says 6 points off the top in my mini league, worth Kane over Son captain. 6 points is not a massive amount at all, right? With respect to overall rank, I just saw that We Rogue tweeted this. With respect to overall rank, 6 points can be quite a lot, and I'll explain why. If you're 6 points off the top 10k, you're 6 points off the current top 10k. That doesn't mean that if you score 6 points more than the top 10k average, that you will finish in the top 10k. That might seem strange, but of course, the target moves. So if a lot of people in and around you outscore the top 10k by 15 points, then all of a sudden 6 points is actually more like maybe 10 to 12 points. 6 points in a mini league, though, that's 1 clean sheet and a bit of bonus. So in a mini league, I'm less inclined to take massive risks when you're only a few points off. Have a look at his team. If he's got Son, and you think he's going to captain Son, and your teams are very similar, maybe you go for Kane. Outside of that, though, I don't think you need to take massive risks there, Murphy, in my opinion. I think 6 points is very, very easily done. Very, very easily done. Got another super chat from Alex. I appreciate all the super chats, guys, and I will answer non-super chat questions. It's just when they're coming through, I've obviously got to prioritise those. We've got a super chat from Alex, says, Richarlison to Tony, -4, 59 clear in my mini league. If you're 59 points clear, Alex, you have as much fun as you want. But yeah, I think Richarlison to Tony for a -4 is fine. Of course, Richarlison is on penalties, and Arsenal aren't particularly great defensively, so it has the potential to backfire slightly, but I do really fancy Tony to do well. So yeah, maybe that's fine. By the way, if you're new to the channel and you're watching this and you're not yet subscribed, I'm not going to bang on about it too much, but we're going to try and hit 15,000 subscribers in this live stream. I'll just give it a quick refresh. We're currently on exactly 14,800. So we're 200 subscribers off 15,000. It would mean the absolute world to me if we could hit 15,000 before the end of the stream or before the end of the season. So please, 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 if you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, drop a like on the video, subscribe, and it will make my season if we can hit 15,000. Got a highlighted message from Marcelo. Mr. Max says, afternoon, Ross. Looking to take a hit. -4. Mohamed Salah and João Pedro out for Vardy and Diaz. That looks amazing. Would you go Kane and Barnes instead? Ooh, armband on Son. Great stream. Chat, let me know what you'd do here because I'm really struggling for Max here. So let me know in the chat. Do you prefer Vardy and Diaz or Kane and Barnes? I really like Harvey Barnes for this week. I actually think if I could pick any midfielder in the game, apart from the obvious, like De Bruyne and Mane, like the expensive ones, Son, I think Barnes would be top of my list. And if I bring in a midfielder, I may well go Barnes. And Kane is obviously a great option. But Vardy and Diaz, that seems explosive for me. I would probably just about lean towards Kane and Barnes. I've just got a good feeling. But I don't mind either of those, Max. At the end of the day, for your Game Week 38 transfers, trust your gut feeling. Go with whatever feels right for you, and you'll feel much better with it. But I probably would lean towards Kane and Barnes there. Thank you, Ross. Havertz for Coutinho and captain. Stupid. If we get confirmation Havertz starts, I love Havertz for Coutinho and I like Havertz captaincy. The issue is we still don't know exactly what Havertz's injury was like and how bad it is. And again, we don't know how much Tuchel's going to rotate. He could quite easily start with Lukaku and bring him off after sort of 60. So if you are to make the move, I'm fine making the move without confirmation. I would want confirmation that he's going to start before giving him the armband ahead of the likes of Son personally. Ross, I sent you some news on Spurs. Let me check. Was this on Twitter, Joe? Yeah, if you've got any early team news, even if you're not sure if it's reliable, chuck it to me on my DMs on Twitter. It's at FPL__Raptor. Let me just copy my Twitter in here. I'm only going to tell the stream if it looks legit. I'm not going to give you guys everything because there will be a lot of people DMing me random stuff that just isn't real. So there's my Twitter. If you get any early team news that you know of, just absolutely drop it to me and I'll share it with the stream if I think it's something that's worth discussing. Fantastic. Thanks for sending me that, Joe. So Joe's just sent me this tweet here. I'm happy copying this across. Apparently, everyone has recovered and is good to go. Here we go. So by the way, if you're in the chat, I'm going to keep spamming tweet links. Just click on the link and it will take you to the tweet so I can explain. So basically what the tweet says is that everyone has recovered and is good to go for Spurs. So Sessegnon, Emerson Royale and Kane were apparently doubted due to a stomach virus. A tier 1 source has said that... a tier 1 source has said that Sessegnon, Emerson Royale and Kane have all recovered now. So it looks like Spurs will be going full strength. Got a super chat from Josh King. Thank you very much, Josh. He says, hi, Ross. 13 points off top in my mini league. Looking to take a -8. Diaz, Salah and Greenwood for Sessegnon, Diaz, Foden, Maddison and Vardy. Thoughts? You're 13 points off. So if you take a -8, you're then 21 points off, which is pretty massive. But you are taking out Diaz, Greenwood and Salah, and all three of them might not play for Sessegnon, Diaz, Foden, Maddison. I like the -8, but you're very unlikely to make up 21 points unless you have an absolutely cracking week or unless some of those players that you're bringing in get multiple returns. I wonder if you can make 2 of those transfers and then use someone off your bench. I don't mind that at all though, Josh. And out of those 3, I would probably lean towards Diaz just about. Got a super chat from Marco. Says, I wish I can subscribe twice. Hello from Galway. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that, Marco. Thank you for the super chat. Just watching and subscribing once is plenty for me. Sorry, I'm not right. There's no more super chats for a second. Let me answer some other questions. Kulusevski or Barnes? Kulusevski's got the better fixture. Kulusevski has the slightly better data. I just fancy Harvey Barnes. I don't know why. I've just got a really good feeling about Harvey Barnes. But again, my sensible content creator recommendation would be Kulusevski there. Bench Sessegnon, James or Matip? Gosh, Steve, how strong is your team to have to bench one of those? I'd bench Matip. Unless we get confirmation James is on the bench, then I'd bench him. I wouldn't be benching Sessegnon. I think he's a great shout this week. Marcus asks, thoughts on punts on Barkley and Delhi? I don't mind Delhi, but the issue with it's just not a great fixture anyway, and they could be rotating quite a lot. So how strong is that Everton team going to be? Barkley again, I don't mind. I just feel like there are better punts. I'd like Mbermo over both of them personally. If I'm looking at that, I don't mind them, Marcus. Again, if you fancy it, go for your gut feeling. Will Gabriel Jesus start? I would say yes. If I had to guess the front three, I would say Foden, Jesus, Sterling. If I had to guess the front, it could be anyone realistically. I would guess Foden, Gabriel Jesus, and Sterling. Why do you prefer Watkins than Richarlison? I don't. I prefer Richarlison. I'm going to be taking out Watkins probably. The reason I've got him in there is in case this is a bit of a recommendation for you guys. When you're making last minute transfers, so for example, if I take out Watkins for Tony and it's last minute and the site crashes, if I've got Watkins in my team and I make the move and it goes through, Tony's going to go straight into my team. So I'm setting up the team. The current plan is Watkins to Tony and then rolling with that. So that's the reason for that. Firmino or Jesus? I don't think Firmino will start, so Jesus. But I mean, Jesus might not start either. May I ask, what is your overall team value? I currently have 108.2, which has helped build a team at the back end. Yeah, my team value is terrible. It's like 104.6 or something along those lines. Something like that. Yeah, my team value is not great, but I just don't make early transfers. I would rather have poor team value. I've been burnt too many times in past seasons by making transfers really, really early. So I just tend to wait until the deadline to make my transfers. There are pros and cons to both, and we'll discuss that in pre-season because there are definitely pros, especially when you're building your second wildcard, to making moves early and to build up your team value. So it's something to consider. Almost 1,000 people watching. I massively appreciate that. Like I said, if you are one of the 1,000 people watching and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please do consider doing so. We're going to try and hit 15,000 subscribers, hopefully live on stream. We've still got about 2 hours left, so fingers crossed we'll hit live on stream. I'm really fancying a punt on Ziyech today. I've said all week, if you can nail out of Pulisic, Barkley, Werner, Ziyech, out of all of those players who you think will start, I absolutely think they could be a fantastic option. The only thing I would say is I expect Mason Mount to start. And if Mason Mount starts, it's usually on the right. Obviously, if they play the 3-4-1-2, Mount can start central. I don't, unless they're pushing Mount out to the left, I don't think Ziyech will start. But I mean, if you fancy a punt on it, James, go for it. -4 for Sessegnon, or do I start for Fana? I'd be tempted for the -4. The issue is with -4 for defenders, they need an attacking return. Because again, if Fofana scores 2 and Sessegnon scores 6, you're gaining absolutely nothing, really. You're gaining 0 points. So you either need full bonus from Sessegnon only to gain 3, or you need an attacking return. So I tend to avoid hits for defenders if I can, but someone like Sessegnon is one of the few defenders that I would be willing to take a risk for personally. Look at that. I asked people to subscribe. We gained 40 subscribers just through asking. So thank you very much if you were one of the 40 that just subscribed. FPL Harry says he heard that Mount may have an injury. So, okay. Let me just double check there's nothing new on this and then I'll explain the situation. Because I think it's hypothesizing as opposed to being anything. Yeah. So as far as I can tell from this, let me explain the situation with Mason Mount in case you're looking at potentially bringing Mason Mount in. Mason Mount in the final against Liverpool took the 7th penalty, right? I think it was the 7th penalty. That straight away is quite surprising when you consider the fact, yes, Mason Mount has missed penalties this season, but when other people have been on the pitch, Mount has taken penalties on 3 or 4 occasions, right? So the first thing is Mount tends to be quite high up the pecking order in penalties. So why did he take the 7th penalty, right? That's quite strange. Did he pick up potentially some sort of knock? The next thing to note is that he didn't come on at all against Leicester. So they were 1-1. They really needed a goal. And Mount just didn't feature at all, right? So taking the 7th penalty, not featuring at all against Leicester, it's pretty strange. So, and I haven't seen anything yet which suggests that he's injured. And as far as I know, he's been in training. It would worry me slightly, though, that he, again, maybe the penalty makes sense because, like I said, he's missed penalties this season. But to not feature against Leicester at all seems a little bit strange. So I'd keep an eye on it. Maybe don't make the move yet. I haven't seen anything confirmed from anyone reliable that Mount's injured. I think it's just a lot of hypothesizing because we think it's quite strange that he missed out. Got a highlighted message from Catlin. Thank you very much. 1,000 watching and only 180 likes. Come on, it's one free click. Minimum effort to help support the channel. Thank you very much. My members doing all of the promoting for me. I appreciate that. I try not to ask too much, but yes, if you would mind dropping a like, it's free. Free content, free likes, free stuff for everyone. Hey Ross, Cash, Ings and Zaha to Sessegnon, Bruno G and Kane for a -8. Any suggestions? I don't think you need to take out Zaha, but I do like Sessegnon and Kane coming in, so I don't mind it particularly. Hi Ross, you missed my question. Oh, I did. Was it it was one of the first ones. Drop it in the chat again, True Fandela, and I'll answer it. Can you just copy paste it in again and ask? It would have been gone by now, but I'll keep an eye out for your question because I know you did drop a super chat already. King Sight says, good afternoon, Ross, in the chat. Good luck today. Enjoy the last game. Yeah, let's enjoy it. This is my #1 message. If you're going to take one thing from this stream, if you're not going to watch the whole thing, stay positive, enjoy the final day, and make transfers which, in your heart and your gut feeling, you think are the correct transfers to make. That's my opinion on it. Game week 38 is all about gut feeling. Across the season, you can trust stats. In one single game week, when the season ends, you don't have to carry this team forward. It's all about gut feeling. Trust your gut feeling. Make an exciting decision, and play your own game as well. Like, of course, ask my opinion, ask other people's opinions, but at the end of the day, make your own decisions. That's what's so exciting. There's nothing better than bringing in a captain, a differential option, I should say, in game week 38, and then absolutely smashing it. It's the best feeling in the world. So go for it. Let me know in the chat. Actually, this is a really good question. Let me know in the chat, who is your big differential? And I'm not talking about someone like Sessegnon or Tony. I'm talking about, is anyone bringing in like a mega differential, someone that's very lowly owned? So if we look back to last season, it was Pablo Fornal's got a 19-pointer against Southampton in the final game week. Is there anyone like that, like a Pablo Fornals that you consider it? If I had to select a differential, if I was giving you my mega differential, it'd be Brian Mbeumo of Brentford. I just got a feeling. I've got a feeling everyone's bringing in Vissa, Ericsson, Tony. Got a feeling Mbeumo might be the one to do it. Right, did we get to that question? Okay, hi Ross, good luck. If you're 250k and unhappy about it, Diaz or Mount or Foden, Captain Kane or Vardy, is Kane fit? So Kane looks fit. As I said, the news coming through is that Kane's fine. And I think out of Diaz, Mount and Foden, I think Diaz has got quite explosive potential there. I'd captain Vardy. If you really want to go for it, I think the two differential choices are Diaz and Cap Vardy, and just go for it. Got Seb on golf in the chat. Good to see you, my man. I've been watching all of your new eclectic score golf series, so lovely content, mate. Says Salah to Son, even if I already have Kulusevski and Kane. Oh, that's a great question. I think if we don't get confirmation that Salah's starting, so if we just don't know and we don't get any news, I would do it, Seb. If we get confirmation that Salah's starting, I think Salah could be a huge differential. Not many people are going to still have Salah. So try and wait as long as possible, Sebi. And then if you don't get news, I'd do it still. The triple up of Son, Kulusevski and Kane, I reckon Spurs could batter them 6-7-0. So yeah, go for that, mate. God, the chat is moving quickly. Literally, we've got like a 20th of the level that Andy has, and the chat just flies past. Hi Ross, currently between bringing in Barnes and benching Richarlison or selling Richarlison for Tony, what would you do? Oh, I really like Barnes. Barnes and Tony are great options. If you can get Barnes in, I quite like that. The reason I'm not getting Barnes in is because I quite like my midfield as it is, whereas I hate my two strikers. So I'm looking at maybe bringing in Tony. I really like Barnes as an option though. Could be a great shout. So thinking set on selling Salah to whether it's just to get Mane or Son, protecting an 8k rank. Oh, fair enough. If you're protecting an 8k rank, Seb, and you just want to get top 10k, just bring in Son. Mane is going to be so lowly owned. Salah's going to be lowly owned. If it's a protective move, just get Son in. Because Son's going to be 150% effective ownership. You could end up outside the top 20k if Son smashes it, Seb. So yeah, I'd just go for it. Who is Andy? Oh, Andy's just a small YouTuber. He's just a small YouTuber with a small YouTube channel. He gets a few views, you know. Who would you go? Vardy and Pulisic or Maddison and Lukaku? I'm not sure that either. If I had to bet now, I don't think Pulisic or Lukaku start. So if you're forcing my hand, neither of those. But I quite like maybe Vardy and Havertz. Can you afford Havertz? Vardy and Havertz, I think, could be a really nice shout. We'll try and wait to see if we get any early team news on Chelsea. Cash to Zinchenko or Richarlison to Tony/Welbeck. Zinchenko could do something, but he's just got no attacking threat usually. So I like Richarlison to Tony or Welbeck. Welbeck's underlying data. Let me actually switch to show you this because it's pretty remarkable, to be honest. And it's been the case for a while now. Let me just switch over here. If we just bring up Fantasy Football Scout. This is minutes per expected goal involvement over the last 6 weeks. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about stats for too long because at the end of the day, Game Week 38 is more about sort of gut feels than stats. Welbeck's in there. Look, here we are. This is Welbeck. And he doesn't take penalties either. So Mahrez, Kane have both had a penalty. So when you look at non-penalty expected goal involvement, if you can just see here, this little one here, hopefully you can see me highlighting that. Welbeck over the last 6 game weeks is top for non-penalty expected goal involvement. He's top for big chances per 90. So if you're looking for a punt at £6 million, I genuinely think Welbeck could be a brilliant option if you think that Brighton will score a couple of goals past West Ham, which is fairly possible considering West Ham haven't been that great defensively recently. So that's something to consider. I quite like Welbeck. I just think that the fixture for me and being on penalty, I think I'm just about leaning towards Tony. But if we just scroll down, you can see Tony's not anywhere to be seen, really. Tony doesn't come in until... there he is, 150. It's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong, Tony's underlying data is not bad, but there are quite a few strikers ahead of him. And I think Mateta and Welbeck, you can see here, are 2 pretty decent, cheaper options if you're looking for someone there. So yeah, I quite like Welbeck, basically, is the long and short of that. We've got two super chats, sir. I've just missed there. We've got Clyde says 17 points behind my mini league leader. Who to captain between Diaz, KDB, Son, and Kane? That is a great question. I would probably be looking at 17 points. It depends who they have, right? If they have Son and Kane, then maybe you want to look elsewhere. If they have Diaz, KDB, and Son, maybe you go for Kane. So I would try and match up who they've got and go with someone that they don't own at all. I think I'd probably go Kane there. Unless you think they're going to captain Kane, that would probably be my favourite option there, in my opinion. Hi, Ross. Do you know any of the Manchester United in the nose? My big punt is Cavani, but want more news. He'll be starting before bringing him in. Paddy, odds on FPL on Twitter. At odds on FPL is probably the only one that I would trust there. There are a few other ones. I'll keep an eye on Twitter and we'll assess. Maybe we'll get some early team news. If we do, I'll share anything I get. And like I said, please drop me a DM on Twitter if you get early team news. Just any links, any tweets, anything you see, DM me it, and I'll be checking my Twitter throughout. Another super chat from Srinath says, play Gordon or take out a Villa player for a hit. I'd probably take out a Villa player for a hit. I don't think there's any certainty that Gordon starts, and even if he does, he just hasn't looked that fantastic recently. So I think there are probably better options, and I think a hit could definitely be paid back if you're looking at taking out Gordon. Got another super chat from Reality Low says, hi Ross, thanks for the content this season. Really enjoyed it. You are more than welcome. Thank you for watching. I've taken a -16. Okay, nice, bold. Cash, Ings, Watkins, Richarlison. Yeah, all 4 of those are options you don't want. To Kane, Sessegnon, Vardy, and an enabler. Probably a bit excessive, but I'm 37k, so happy to gamble. I love that, mate. Again, if you're happy with your rank and you think, do you know what, I'd rather try and push on to like the top 25k than just stagnate at 37k. All 4 of those that you've brought in have got absolutely the ability to outscore the ones that you've taken out by 4 points. So I absolutely love all of those transfers, mate. Good options. Got a super chat from Michael, says Salah, Richarlison to Tony / Son or Diaz, Kane. Okay, so it's Tony and Kane. Sorry, Tony and Diaz or Son and Kane, right? The way you've done that's quite... Okay, that's fine. I would be looking at... I think Son and Tony is probably the sensible one, all right? Diaz Kane's the risky one if you're really trying to push it, if you need to try and make up rank. I would expect Tony and Son to outscore, but Diaz and Kane I quite like. They're quite explosive, both of them. What's the situation with Salah? Salah's been in full training. Salah is going to play some form of minutes. It's just whether does he play 30 or 60. I can't see a world that Salah plays 90, and I also can't see a world that they bother bringing him on for 5 minutes. So I think Salah either comes on for Jota around 60, or I think Salah starts, plays 60, and Jota comes on for 30. So I think you'll get between 30 and 60 minutes. Build the perfect free hit team. I already released a free hit video earlier in the week, and I don't think it would change that much, to be honest. So if you're interested in a free hit video, there's one earlier in the week. It was the first video I uploaded. I don't think it would change too much. The only thing I would change is probably Lukaku wouldn't be in there anymore, and maybe I'd just go for Vardy instead. How late to leave transfers before the site crashes? I'd say 15 minutes. You don't have to make all of your transfers. Like, for example, 15, 20 minutes before the deadline, I'm probably going to do Watkins to Tony. And then I'll just leave my team. And if we get team news after that makes me want to take a hit, I may well end up taking a hit. But I'd try and lock in maybe like your free transfer as early as possible. So as early as possible, do the example here, Watkins to Tony. And then, like I said, if I find out that Alonso's benched or Mason Mounts is indeed out or Zaha's maybe randomly, like if anything like that happens, I can take that extra -4. So that would be that's probably going to be my plan there. Just going to check Twitter quickly. I don't think, like, in my personal opinion, if we're getting team news this early, or like team leaks, I'm less inclined to believe the news the earlier it is. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but normally journalists and in the know accounts don't get team news that early. So if someone's coming out like 2 hours before the deadline, 3.5 hours before the games, and they're telling me that a certain player's not starting, I would wonder how they're getting team news that early. So I'm not expecting any good team news for at least another hour or so, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. Would you bring in James for cash for a -4? Only if we get early team news, Christopher. I don't think I would make that move unless we know for certain that James is starting. And of course, James could potentially be starting right centre-back rather than right wing-back. So I think I'd want some kind of confirmation if possible. What do you think about Wilson? Yeah, I love Wilson. I really, really like Wilson as an option. For me, I just think I prefer the fixture for Tony. And so I'm leaning towards Tony. But I think Callum Wilson could be a great option. He's also on penalties. Burnley have to go for the win. So Wilson could... He looked excellent against Arsenal. Omcar says, training my mini league leader by 5 points. They have Kane. They may get Son. Want to go Ings to Tony and Son captain. Have Cancelo, Laporte, Alonso, Davies, Mount, Saka, Kane, Zaha, Weghorst sub. What do you think? Yeah, I think your team looks fine there. Ings to Tony's a great move, and I think Son captain's fine. Especially if they don't get Son. That's obviously a massive advantage. I suppose you've already got Kane in there. So yeah, maybe Son captaincy, Tony Frings. I think that sounds good, Omcar. I think I'd be along those lines if that was my team. Let's have a little captaincy poll then. Actually, no, let's talk about hits first. So I'm just going to run a poll in the chat, guys. I just want to see how everyone's feeling about how many hits they're taking. Always interested to see what the general sentiment amongst the chat is. To be honest, if you're watching my channel, maybe you love your hits because I've taken quite a few hits this season. Free transfer / free hit, -4 hit, -8 hit, -12 hit. Bloody camera's lagging out. It's not a Raptor stream without the camera deciding to just destroy itself. Right, there you go. I've just, to the 800 people that are currently watching, thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're trying to hit 15,000 subscribers. I've just chucked a poll in the chat. So this is for your transfers / hits for Game Week 38. I want to know what the current sentiment is. Are you currently looking at free transfers? Are you currently looking at -4, -8, or is it -12 and beyond? And you're just going to absolutely go for it in the final game week. I've seen quite a few -16s and -20s flying around, so I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe the -12 or more, maybe even being more than the -8. We'll have to wait and see what the situation is there. Ludwig says, Bowen, Trossard or Eriksen? I have Visser. I think if you have Visser, I'd probably be going Bowen there. I do like Eriksen and Trossard. I'd probably be leaning towards Bowen. Darshu in the chat. Good to see you, my man. Hey, everyone. Happy football day. Happy last day of the season. Like I said, positive vibes only, as it always is on this channel, to be fair. But yeah, we're going to try and enjoy the final game week. Right, let's try this camera again. Let's get it back up and running. Kane or Son? Probably Son if you're protecting. Kane if you want to go attacking. Would be my opinion on that. Like I said, I'm not expecting too much on Twitter yet, but we'll see. I haven't seen any leaks yet. Like I said, I'm going to keep you updated. And then like 15, 20 minutes away from the deadline, I'll share my Twitter screen and we'll scroll through Twitter together, because I think that's all we're going to want to know. In those last sort of 15, 20 minutes, we're just going to want any leaks we can possibly get. Stephen Gerrard said, I'll buy Pep a bottle of shampoo as a present if he beats us tomorrow. It's outrageous. Stop being hating the bald guys, Gerrard. FPL the Max says, afternoon, Ross. Final transfer of the season. Coutinho out, KDB or Mane, and I've already got Son, Kane, Kulusevski. I really like Mane, I'll be honest. I think Mane loves playing against Wolves, loves the final day of the season. I don't expect Salah to get 90. Mane tends to perform very well when Salah's not in the team. I'd be tempted. I'd be super, super tempted by Mane. But I like both of them. You've made better decisions than me this year anyway. I trust you to make the right decision there. Clive says, hi, mate. 20 points behind my mini league leader. He has Kane and no Son. I have Son, no Kane. Planning to get Vardy. Should I captain Son or Vardy? I'm torn between going all in to catch him or to protect my rank. Is he going to get Son, though? This is the thing. If he's going to get Son, then Vardy. If he's not going to get Son, having Son not only as an option above him, but also as captaincy, you got to do that, I think. I'd probably captain Son regardless, to be honest, and I hope that the rest of your team makes it up. But if he's bringing in Son, that obviously makes it a slightly less tempting option. George says 2.3 million in the bank, -4. Richarlison and Nketiah, Jesus, Kulusevski to who? Bench 1. I wouldn't be selling Jesus, Kulusevski or Nketiah, really. Probably Richarlison to Tony. And I would bench Nketiah. So Richarlison to Tony, bench Nketiah. Thanks for your great content, Ross. Really enjoy your long format and the way you present the info. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Says, thinking Gordon and Dennis to Luis Diaz and Tony. Gordon and Dennis to Luis Diaz, that looks obvious. And Watkins and Cash. Watkins and Cash to Kane and Sessegnon. I actually probably prefer the Kane and Sess, mate. I think triple up on that Spurs, attack that Norwich fixture. But I like both. Luis Diaz and Tony are great options, but getting Kane and Sessegnon in looks like a no-brainer to me. Yes, Raptor, who's your top 3 must today? Already have Son, Mount, Saka. Was thinking just Salah out for a -4, for Nketiah out 2, Kane, Barnes, Vardy, Diaz. I think in midfield, the 2 options that I like the most at the moment are probably Barnes and Diaz. I just think they're both explosive. They can both score goals. Both really nice fixtures. So Diaz and Barnes at the moment. And then, like I said, my number 1 punt, I'm not asking people to trust this because it's a random punt. I just got a good feeling about Mbeumo. That's just my personal opinion on it. But I think any of the Brentford boys could be decent shot as well. I guess there's always the opportunity, or the possibility, I should say, that Leeds put up a really good fight against Brentford. And if that is the case, maybe you don't want to load up on Brentford players. Brentford have nothing to play for. Leeds have everything to play for. So we'll have to wait and see there. Somnath has just become a member. Thank you very much, Somnath. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully you enjoy your stay and enjoy going into pre-season as a Rap Tier member. Mane captain. See you in the Discord later when I'm raging over my score. Yeah, I like Mane captain, to be fair. It's up to you. If you are willing to risk Son absolutely battering your rank on the final day, then absolutely. Absolutely. How many subscribers have you got now, Ross? Good question, Clive. I have got 14,879. So we're 121 subscribers of 15,000. Again, if you are watching this and you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. 121 subscribers off 15,000. I know it doesn't matter. I'm happy with how we are already, but it's just nice to hit those milestones, isn't it? You don't get FPL points for hitting the bar, so no Mbeumo for me. Yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, it's variance. It really is. That's not poor. Repeatedly hitting the post when there's like that much gap between scoring, that's just poor variance for Mbeumo earlier on in the season. I just think he's probably got more goal threat than Eriksen, maybe slightly less than Visser. I just think he's quite a cool option. I may end up bringing him in, to be fair. If I bring in Tony for Richarlison, I can actually afford to go Mbeumo in for Gordon, so I don't mind that as an option. I'm going to miss these live streams, you know? It's nice chatting. As stressful as they can be close to the deadline, I actually really, really do enjoy the live streams. Salah Mahrez out and Son Mount in for a -4, or just do the Salah Son move and take my chances with Mahrez. Obviously, there's a good chance Mahrez does play it. I've got a feeling that he doesn't, though. I quite like the -4, but it has the potential to backfire. But the two that you're bringing in and Son and Mount could absolutely smash it. Again, I'd wait as long as possible, and hopefully we get news on Mount, Mahrez, and Salah. I have triple captain. Captain for Son or De Bruyne, please. I'd go Son. Triple captain's a differential in itself. You don't also have to triple captain differential. I'd probably go Son. Anyone captaining Vardy? I may well do. I may well still do that. At the moment, I've got it on the Son, but I may well end up on Vardy for sure. Barnes or Maddison? Probably Maddison, but I prefer Barnes. I've just got a good feeling about Barnes. Missed the start of the stream. Have we got any team news or reliable rumours? Like I said, not this early, mate. I wouldn't expect to see any news this early, personally. I'm expecting the news to start flying in around 1:45. So I reckon we've still got 45 minutes to an hour. We might get a couple of pieces of really early team news. Like, for example, we've heard through the grapevine that Kane, Sessegnon, and Emerson Royal have all travelled and that no one's out with the stomach virus. Like, we might start to get news like that leaked through slowly. Outside of that, I can't imagine we'll start getting much reliable news this early. Right, I'm just going to show you a couple of potential moves that I could make then. Obviously, keep asking your questions. Keep helping each other in the chat as well. If you see someone ask a question that you think you can give a good answer to, feel free to help them out in the chat. So I'm just going to show you what some of the potential moves could be, right? So this is the team, obviously just on fpl.team now. By all means, bring up the website. It's just fpl.team. You can type that in your URL. If we look at the way that the team's currently set up, like I said, the obvious move for me, if we don't get any early team news, or we get early team news but nothing conclusive, is just that, right? That's the way the team would look ready to go. I think that's a fine transfer. I think I'm probably likely to make that move anyway. But like I said, what I could do is, rather than doing it for for Watkins, sorry, because Richarlison's a little bit more expensive, I actually really like this. So chuck Watkins first sub, take out Richarlison for Tony. Right, and then I can actually do Gordon to Mbeumo. Now, this is obviously a double up. I think I can afford that, right? Yeah, so this is obviously a double up on the Brentford attack. So I am really going all in here on the Brentford attack. But I quite like that as an option. What do you guys think? The team would look like, I'd probably end up benching Laporte, but I may well end up needing Laporte anyway. So I know it's not particularly ideal to bench Laporte. But I could do that for a -4, though. Like I said, a -4 to bench Laporte doesn't seem great. But again, if we do end up getting rotation, at least I've got a strong first sub there. So that's the first option. The other option is, rather than doing Gordon to Mbeumo, is I actually just do Cash to Sessegnon. And again, I don't really like taking a -4 for a defender, especially when it's to bench Laporte, but I could do something like that. And then again, it depends. If we get early team news that like Mason Mount's out or Alonso's out, that makes it slightly easier to do something that's slightly different with the team. So that's what I'm currently thinking at the moment. It is probably going to be Tony coming in for me at the moment anyway. That's the current plan. I can't even click the next, but I can't show you what I'm doing for future weeks because this is it. This is it. The season is ending now. So quite sad, really. Currently looking at doing something like that, though, with the team. Probably not the Sessegnon move, right? So if I just chuck it back, just to let you know what the team is likely to like, because that would be for a -4, right? This is the way that the team's currently likely to set up. It might be Richarlison rather than Watkins. Obviously, the bench isn't great, but hopefully we don't need it. The team's likely to line up like this. Let's just have a look at the poll. What is the poll saying? So in the chat, 50% of the poll are taking a -4. Right, so -4 looks by far and away the most popular. We've then got 26% are using a free transfer or they're on the free hit. We've then got -8 is 19%, and then -12 is 6%. So it looks like most people are taking a hit this week, or at least half of the sample here are currently taking a hit, which is quite a lot of people. So you might be at a slight advantage already just by not taking a hit. Good morning, mate. Greetings from New York. Good morning. Love you, man. I love you too, Gnarly. Thank you very much. Appreciate the love. Always up for receiving positive vibes and love. Appreciate it. Right. Let's get back to the chat. My captain. Yeah, my captain's probably going to be Son, but if I end up getting a little bit of bravery before the deadline, I may end up moving to Vardy. But at the moment, the captaincy's going to stay on Son. I want to enjoy the final day of this. I'm not going to enjoy watching the football if I have the captaincy to someone else, because Son's just going to batter my rank even though I own him. I'm not in the mood for that. I'll be honest, it's not necessarily because I think Son's the optimal. It's just genuine enjoyment. And at the end of the day, we need to enjoy FPL. So for me, I'm going Sonny captain just because I can't be bothered to sit there hoping that one of my players blanks. And Burmo sounds like a bad idea. I remember you had a good feeling about Sterling a few weeks ago. Yeah, good feelings don't always pay off. Good feelings don't always pay off. Play Richarlison or Nketiah. I'd play Nketiah, probably. Vardy or Mane captain. I actually think Mane's a great captaincy shout, but I don't know. That fixture does suit Vardy. I think either of those are fantastic options. Are you not tempted by Wilson over Tony? Ownership-wise seems a good bet if you want to gain. I'm trying to not make the decisions too much via ownership, and for me, I think the fixture suits Tony slightly better. Team news and ticks confirmed most of the Spurs guys have travelled. Yeah, I saw that by a couple of accounts now. So it looks like Kane, Sessegnon, and Emerson Royal are fine. So if you were looking to go for either of those three, I think you're set. I think they'll all start now. Have you gone cold on Lukaku? Yes, I have. I've got a feeling that Havertz might start, and even if he doesn't, I think Havertz will get some minutes. So I still think Lukaku's good. If Lukaku starts, I think he's a great option. I'm just not confident enough that he's going to get a good set of minutes after seeing a couple of Tuchel's quotes. It's my first year in FPL and I'm top 750k-ish. Is that good? Yeah, I think that's pretty decent for your first season. I've loved watching your videos this season. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. Glad you've enjoyed the videos and glad you've had a successful first season as well. Got a super chat from Nahal. Thank you very much. Says Salah and Broja to Son, Callum Wilson or Kane Diaz. I like Kane and Diaz there, actually. Son and Callum Wilson, either way you get a penalty taker. Wilson's penalty taker, Kane's penalty taker. I don't know. Kane and Diaz, for me, seems more explosive out of those two. But I like both options there, Nahal. I think you're fine with either. Just trust your gut feeling there. Will Diaz play? I would be incredibly shocked if Diaz doesn't play, yes. Any news on Salah? Not yet, but he's been in training. So he'll play at some minutes you'd expect. But I think it'll be 30 minutes off the bench. It could be 60 minutes from the start. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a blocked nose, by the way. My voice is coming through even more nasally than usual. Got a bit of a summer cold. Bruno false 9 punt. Yeah, that's a proper punt. I like it, though. I think Man United will score. So, yeah, I don't mind that. Sessegnon and Vardy or Kane? Probably Kane. I'm so nervous about triple captain between Kevin De Bruyne and Son. Can't choose. Flip a coin. This is always my advice. If you're struggling to choose, flip a coin as it lands and as you show yourself heads or tails. What is your split-second reaction to that, right? If you release and it says heads and it's De Bruyne, are you like, oh, crap, I want to flip again. Let me flip again. Then you probably want to do Son. If you show it and it shows De Bruyne, right, and you go, yeah, I'm fine with that, then that probably means De Bruyne was your gut choice. Flip a coin is always my advice. It will give you a good idea about what your gut feeling is telling you. And on the rare occasion that you flip a coin and you don't feel anything, just trust the coin. You might as well. It's literally a 50-50 decision. So that would be my advice to do it. We are 107 subscribers off of 15,000. Again, if you're one of the 625 people currently watching and you're not yet subscribed, please do so. Right? If only like a sixth of those people that are watching live, you that I'm speaking to right now, if you're not subscribed, please give it a go. Hopefully we can hit 15,000. Bring in Saka or Bowen. I like Bowen. I think Bowen could do really well this week. Why change? Last video you said Kane is better than Son. I don't think I have changed. I still think Kane is a slightly better captaincy shout if you're looking to go slightly different with it. With respect to underlying data, though, Kane's hasn't been great when you take penalties out of the equation. I just think personally that Kane, because he's got penalties, loves to bully the weaker teams. I think Kane could do well, but I think either of them are fine options. Diaz or Mount? I already own Havertz. I still think Mount's the slightly better option there, but I really do like Diaz. If you want to spread the risk a little bit, I think Diaz could be a fantastic option. The coin flip worked. I think I'm going from Mount to Mount from Saka. Great. And then you can just blame the coin. If it doesn't pay off, blame the coin. Bowen or James is the 11th player. If James starts, I prefer James. If not, if we don't get confirmation, Bowen's just the safer pick, isn't he? Barnes or Mount captain. I think both are fantastic captaincy shouts. Kane and Richardson out for Mount. KDB and Richardson out for Mount and Kane. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't think you need to take out. You don't need to take out KDB, really, do you? Don't think you desperately need to do that. Hey mate, love your content. Which couple will you choose? Kane/Diaz or Mane and Vardy? Already got Son. God, I feel like I'm gonna keep answering this in a different way. With that combination there, Mane and Vardy sounds excellent. But Kane and Diaz, like all of these are great. I would probably just about lean towards Mane and Vardy. But they're both fantastic options there. Who is going down? That's a great question. I hope and think it's probably Leeds. We'll have to wait and see, though. I say that as a Manchester United fan. I know everyone else seems to love Leeds. I can't stand Leeds, but I'm a United fan. So I would personally prefer I'd personally prefer Leeds to go down. Can you flip a coin for me? Just get up a coin flip website. Just go onto Google and type flip coin. There's loads of coin flip websites. You can just flip a virtual coin. You don't actually have to own a coin anymore. Dirty Leeds. Yeah, I just think the fans at the stadium as well, they're always throwing rubbish. I just don't like Leeds. I'm sorry. Sorry if you're watching this and you're a Leeds fan. I've got plenty of Leeds fans that I think are lovely people, but just generally speaking, I don't like Leeds. Let me run it as a poll. I'm going to run 2 polls. We'll run a poll for top 4 and we'll run a poll for relegation. Who do you think gets relegated? We'll make the most of the polls on YouTube. Why Son over Vardy? I just think Son will outscore Vardy, in my personal opinion. There you go. I've just put a poll in the chat. Who do you think gets relegated, Burnley or Leeds? Just to remind you of the situation. So going into the final day, Burnley are on equal points with Leeds, but Leeds have a significantly worse goal difference, right? So they're both on 35 points. So Leeds have to better Burnley's result. If Burnley lose, Leeds have to draw or win. If Burnley draw, Leeds have to win. If Burnley win, then Leeds can't, and unless they win by like 20 plus goals. So they need Burnley to drop points, and they need to outdo whatever Burnley do. So really, Leeds need to win. Leeds can't go for the draw. I just don't think they can rely on Newcastle beating Burnley. So I think they're going to have to go full pelt. Cheers, Raptor. Great stuff all year. I appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much for tuning in. That's the same handle as Jamie, first in the world. That's not Jamie, is it? If that is Jamie, let me know. I doubt you'll be watching my stream if it is, but yeah, it's the same handle as the #1 in the world, I think. Cool. Imagine being in like the top 5 in the world going into the final game week. I'd be bricking it if I was like 12k. Like as it is, I've got nothing. Like my current rank, who cares? I'd be bricking it going in like 12k. Imagine going in top 5 in the world into the final day of the season. Remarkable. Oh, it is. It is, Jamie. Oh God, Jamie, just play your own game. Do not listen to a thing that I am saying. Don't listen to a thing that anyone else says. And congratulations. No matter what happens, even if you score like 1 point, you have still had a ridiculous season. So congratulations, my man. And well done. Massive, massive, massive well done. Make sure at the end of today, whatever happens, to sit down and have a think, I've had an incredible season, and make sure to celebrate as well. Because that is ridiculous to make that many good decisions in one season. I'll never even get close to that, I'm sure. So well done. Got a super chat from Julio. Says Sessegnon and Højbjerg for Dyer and Gordon for a -4 hit. Is it worth it? If not, which one would you do? I'm not sure Sessegnon for Dyer is worth it because you need him to get an attacking return there. Dyer's fine, and I'm not sure I'd want Højbjerg in there either. I'd maybe be looking at some other moves if you can, mate. I don't think either of those look like they've got massive upside potential. Bench 2 out of Richarlison, Nketiah, and Tony. I definitely wouldn't bench Tony. I'd probably bench Richarlison and I'd start. Oh, you got bench 2. I'd probably bench Richarlison and Nketiah and start Tony. Afternoon, Ross. We are finally here. Absolutely. Absolutely. You should captain Bruno G. No, I'm not as. Only as does that. Does it mean if Jamie's watching my stream right now, does that mean that I can basically say that I'm the reason Jamie finished first? Do I just take full credit for Jamie's season? Jamie, are you okay with that? If I just basically say that the only reason that you got first is because of me? Because that would really help boost my subscribers if I can if I can claim that. I'm gonna claim that. I'm not even gonna ask you. Sorry, Jamie. The only reason you got it is because of my fantastic content. All seriousness, good luck. All seriousness, good luck. -4 for Vissa. God, that really is a game week 38 thing. If someone told you like 12 weeks, even like 5 weeks ago, you'd be taking a -4 for Vissa going into the final game week of the season. Yeah, I wouldn't. You probably wouldn't believe that, would you? Is it weird if I gave you my ID to see what you would do to my team? I can do that for a super chat. I can't do too many, and I don't want to ask people to give me money, but otherwise people just start throwing them in left, right, and center. So if as part of a super chat you want to drop me your team ID, then you can do that. Do you have any changes you're thinking of making for Rap Tier 1 members next season? I do, my man. We're going to do a weekly live stream either on Discord or maybe even YouTube. I'm going to try and do a weekly live stream for Rap Tier 1 members. And we're also going to have loads of mini league prizes as well. So there's going to be like classic football shirts for the end of the season winner. Going to do monthly prizes, probably like a copy of my book and something else. So I'm going to try and kick it up a notch for the Rap Tier 1 members. So yeah, if you want to become a member before the new season, absolutely consider doing so. It's going to kick up a notch for sure. Got a super chat from, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. No, I'm not going to do it. I have a 63-point league in my mini league and all my competitors have Mount and no Kulusevski. Would you do Kulusevski to Mount just to preserve my lead? I would eat my hat if anyone makes up 63 points on you. Unless your team's terrible, I wouldn't even worry about that. I'd just make the decision that you want, personally. Yeah, I'm not keen on doing Kulusevski to Mount just for the sake of trying to protect a 63-point lead. I've no clue how Discord works. My 12-year-old daughter, though, was straight in and showed me without hesitation, worrying. To be fair, Discord's fairly easy. It's basically, Discord is like a massive just group chat. That's pretty much it. And there's just different channels down the side with like, it's basically separated into different like topic group chats. So like if you want to talk about food, we've got one for food. If you want to talk about FPL captaincy, we've got one for FPL captaincy. The point is to try and make it as like segregated as possible so that if you want to talk about fitness, it's not getting confused with FPL. Because when I'm in just general FPL chats, it all gets really confused and like someone's talking about something non-FPL and then someone else is talking about other stuff. So, right. So Mr. Mac in the house has just asked me to take a look at his team. Let me go over to FPL.team. How do I change team ID? Here we go, change. So this is, so like I said, you can, if you want to do a super chat, you can, again, I don't like asking for money, but I'm not going to be able to do it otherwise. So if you want to, you can drop your team ID and I'll give you some advice. How on earth have you managed to take such a bloody good team into game week 30? You've absolutely smashed it this year, mate. So I'm going to guess you're doing something like this for the way you're set up. Oh, Marty's not ideal, is he? So if this were my team, I'd be on a -4. And how much have you got in the? You got 5.3 million in the bank. Is that right? 5.3 million. Wowza. Okay. I'd probably be looking at something like Vardy in there, and then maybe Diaz, something like that. Outside of that, if you prefer the premium midfielders like De Bruyne or Mane, you could go instead Mane and then like Gabriel Jesus or Tony or something like that. I think I would do something along the lines of that. I think. What's your current plan? Is that along the lines of what you were thinking? Cool. A few people are chucking it in. I'll get through to all of these, by the way. So don't worry. I've seen the super chats. I'll have a look. What do you think? FPL the Mac. Is that roughly what you were thinking? Also in the chat, let us know. This can be your opportunity to help out some fellow managers. If this were your team on the screen, as you saw, what would you be looking at? When are we getting the leaked team sheets? We might not get them at all. I did explain that it's not definitely going to happen. I would probably expect that if we do, it will be in about 30 to 45 minutes. We'll start getting a couple. And then literally like 20 minutes before the deadline, I think we might get like a couple more. I don't think we're going to get tons and tons and tons, though. So that's what I would be doing for your team. But again, I don't mind like Mane and a cheaper striker if you wanted to. Or like De Bruyne and a cheaper striker. We've got Julio has asked now. Let's change. All right, let's get your team set up the way it probably will be. It's a really nice team, actually, going into the final day. You don't even really need to make sure. How much money in the bank have you got? You got 0.4 in the bank. You did attach a message, didn't you? What did you say in the message? I've been debating what moves to make. I want to win my mini league. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. I would probably be on Richarlison. You've not got a lot of options, really, have you? Without taking a hit, and I don't think you necessarily need to take a hit. I'd probably be on Richarlison. It'd be a bit of a boring one. It'd be something like Richarlison to Wilson. I think I would be on something like that if that were my team. I don't think you need to take a hit particularly. If you really want to go rogue as well, you could obviously captain De Bruyne instead. But I don't think I would be taking a lot of hits there. I quite like the idea of bringing in Wilson. And then at least you've got a really strong first sub in Dyer as well. I think that's absolutely fine to have as your first sub. So I think that would be along the lines of what I was doing with your teammate. We've got Haresh Vlogs, 13-point deficit. Cool, that's good information to have. Let me just copy paste your ID. I won't do loads and loads of these, but hopefully it's useful. It's probably more useful than me answering questions anyway, to see the way that I think and the way that I approach transfers and stuff. Obviously, you've probably given your team more thought than I have, so take everything that I'm saying with a pinch of salt and make your own decisions as well, of course. Right. Bang. Bang. Okay. Right, how much you got in the bank? 3.2 million. Cool. I'm really jealous of all these people that have got this much money in the bank to mess around with some transfers. If this were my team, what would I do? I'd have Tony in for Watkins, probably. Right, so straight away, that's one. And then I would probably bench Mateta for Gordon. And then how much have you got to take Gordon out? 8.3 mil. I'd probably be looking at Havertz, Maddison, Barnes, someone like that. I'll put Barnes in for now. Any of the midfielders that you fancy. I'd take a -4 and I'd do that with the team, right? So you've still got a little bit of money in the bank there. If you, like I said, if you want to go for like Havertz, I think that's absolutely fine as well. So it would be Tony in for Watkins, Barnes in for Gordon, or a mid-price midfielder in for Gordon, and then have Mateta as your first sub, something like that. Hi, Ross. Who do you prefer from Mount or Diaz? If they both start, I prefer Mason Mount, Stephen, but I don't mind Diaz at all. And I think Liverpool have more to play for and they're going to play a stronger side than Chelsea, so I really don't mind Diaz at all. I'm 7 points behind my mini league topper. I'm taking a -8 to get rid of Salah, Cash, and Richarlison for Robertson, Diaz, and Vardy. Yeah, love that. Do you think it's worth it? I do really, really like that, especially if he doesn't have Diaz and Vardy. That's the sort of thing that could easily make you up those points. So, yeah, I really, really like those transfers, mate. Even though it is a big hit, I quite like it. We've got a team ID from Ajmal. Sorry if I butchered your name there. I'm not very good at pronouncing different names. I'm very ignorant like that. Let's have a look at what your team looks like. Right. Trent would come in. Foden would come in. Okay, so you've got obviously a few players that you wouldn't really want this week. You're probably looking at a -4, and you've got 2.6 million in the bank. What did you say with your message? Because you gave me some information for your message, didn't you? Thinking Cash, Coutinho, Watkins, Richarlison out for Tony, Sessegnon, Diaz, or Vardy. -8 max. What would you do? 20 points. If you're 20 points behind a mini league, I wouldn't also be taking massive hits because to make up the likes of 28 points is just incredibly unlikely. So I would give the armband to someone different, right? I'm not saying it should be Mason Mount. It could even be someone like Trent, right? You're going to have to probably captain a differential here. And then I would be looking, yeah, Coutinho and Watkins out. And it's just up to you what players you fancy, to be honest. I mean, it could be something along the lines of Tony, and then how much would you have for Coutinho out? 10.2. Actually, do you know what I'd quite fancy here? I think you might be able to afford this. It is a double up on Leicester, so you'll have to decide how much you fancy Leicester. All right. Have you got enough to go Vardy there? Yeah. I quite like that. Right, bringing in Barnes and Vardy. Then you could even give Vardy the armband. Even if you don't like Barnes as well, there are other options you could go for in that spot there. You could go for Saka. You could go for Mbermo, Ericsson, Visser. There are loads of different options. Like, we haven't even spoken about Visser. I think he's a fantastic option if you want to go there. So I think there are multiple options. I quite like the idea of getting Vardy in, or it'd be, again, something along those lines. But trust your gut feeling again. Whatever sounds good to you, to be honest. Angelina with the team ID as well. Hopefully, is this useful for you guys? Seeing me go through all of these teams, or would you rather me just answer your questions? If this isn't useful, I'll stop doing it after this one. But hopefully, I guess it's still answering questions and giving you some ideas. So hopefully, it's still useful. Right, so this is Angelina's team. Cool. That's a cracking team, isn't it? Wowza. Right, you got one transfer, 0.12 in the bank. Oh, you've got Diaz in there, haven't you? And Diaz is injured. It's gonna have to be that to me. This is a very easy team to sort. All right, it's just Sessegnon in there. It would literally be as simple as that for me. Angelina, I would be very simply doing Diaz to Sessegnon and rolling with this team. I think you're pretty good to go. Like, the team's absolutely fine. I think Pookie first sub is fine. I know you've got Sessegnon there, but I don't have a massive issue with that. If you wanted to take a hit, you could also do Tony in here. Right, and then you could bench Nketiah if you wanted to. Because I think there's a decent chance you'll need your subs anyway, maybe. So in that way, if you need Nketiah, he comes off the bench. I don't mind that, but for me, the priority is obviously Diaz out, and I think Sessegnon's got to be the one. It's useful, not as useful as early team news, but we can burn time with the popular tinkering. Absolutely, yeah. As soon as we get some team news flowing in, we'll focus on that. So feel free to keep dropping team IDs. You missed my super chat, Ross. Cool. Sorry, mate. I've just seen your super chat. I'm going to answer that now. Thank you for letting me know that I missed your super chat. Ultimate Modern Gaming. I'm doing your team now. Got another subject. Barnes versus Maddison. Who would you bring in? I prefer Barnes, but I think Maddison's the more sensible choice, probably. So take that as you will. I think Barnes could be a fantastic option. Right, this is Ultimate Modern Gaming. Right, Doherty, Veg. Yeah, the bench is a bit naff, isn't it? Quite, it's a lovely team. It's a lovely, lovely team. This is a boring one again. It's a very, very boring one for me. I'd be on Richarlison to Tony, probably. I can't. You're not going to want to take out any of that back line. You're not going to want to take it. I suppose Salah's the major issue, isn't he? So let's go through two scenarios. If Salah is confirmed starting, I'd keep Salah. If we don't get news on Salah, or he's confirmed to not start, it's probably got to be Son in there, hasn't it, really? I mean, it depends on your rank, but I would be looking at Sonny in here. And then you've got 10 point... You can't afford Vardy, can you? He's 10.4. Oh, he's 10.3. I'll look at that. There you go. Those would be my moves. Son and Salah and Richarlison to Son and Vardy. Captain Son. That literally looks like almost like a free hit team. I don't think you can get much better than that. I'd be slightly tempted to start Dubravka, but maybe I would go Schmeichel. Outside of that, yeah, Son and Vardy would be my moves there, mate. Salah benched according to Let's Talk FPL. Ooh. Did he tweet it? Was that on his... Oh, yeah, I've just seen it. Cool. Salah benched. There we go. Right, so that answers the questions that we've just had there. There you go. There's the tweet. So basically, Andy isn't an in-the-know source. As you know, Andy is a YouTuber. But he has someone that DMs him each week, and they tend to be quite accurate. So, yeah, Salah's benched by the sounds of it. Which is interesting news for sure. Right, let me make sure I haven't missed any super chats that came through. Would you play Laporte or Nketiah? I'd probably play Nketiah, to be honest. Right, so we've got a few more team IDs. People are saying that this is quite useful, so I'm going to continue doing this. I will still answer questions from the chat as well. And we'll keep doing this for a little bit because it gives me something a bit different to do as well. Let me check how many subscribers we're at as well. Oh, we are only 78 subscribers off of 15,000. If you're watching this and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'll assume that most of you that are here have probably subscribed anyway. But if on the off chance you're watching this, if you're not yet subscribed, we're only 78 subscribers off, so please do consider doing so. Right. So we have got Banazar with the team ID. Let's have a look. If you want to provide extra information in your super chat, because obviously I don't know if you're aiming for mini league points. I don't know what your aim is and how risky you want to go with it. So if you want to provide extra information, it makes it easier for me. Okay, so this is your team. God, there's not a lot you can do with that, really. I would probably be looking at... How much have you got in the bank? You've got 2.9 in the bank. I'd probably be looking at Gordon to... I would... Can you afford Vardy? Yeah. So I would either go Ings to Vardy. I know I keep going on about Vardy. It's not just because I own Vardy. I think it's genuinely good fit, assuming he starts again. So you can either go Ings to Vardy like that. Or again, you can keep Ings in the team, right? Not take Ings out. And then your other option is just doing Gordon 21 7.5. So I would probably be looking at the Leicester boys there. And it could be someone like Maddison. Right, so you would be lining up in a 4-5-1. If not Maddison, it could be potentially Kulusevski. I think it's a good option. You could go for the triple up on the Spurs. Right, you've got numerous options there. And the team would be set up something like this. So I would either go to Vardy from Ings, or I would go to Kulusevski, Maddison, Barnes, someone like that from Gordon. Would be the personal way that I would approach that, mate. Hopefully that helps. Steve Sedman in the chat. Would love to get your thoughts on my team. Of course, my man. You've been making much better decisions than me all season, though, so I wouldn't listen too much to what I've got to say. No, I'm only kidding. I'll try and give you an impartial perspective on your team. Steve, by the way, I don't know what Steve's current rank is. I'm sure it's still around sort of like top 250 in the world. Is it, Steve? I mean, you don't really need to do anything, do you? So that's the current team. How much have you got in the bank? 0.2. I genuinely don't know what I would do with that team. What would you do, chat? What would you do with that team for Steve? Like I said, Steve's in a really, really good position. Fantastic rank. I mean, I'd probably captain Vardy or Kane if you want to push on. It depends if you want to protect your rank or not. I guess you could go from Saka to someone like Maddison or Barnes if you don't fancy Saka for this week. Or if we get confirmation that Mount is out, maybe you go for Havertz instead. So that could be a cheeky... there's nothing really to do with your team that I would desperately want to do. The only other option you've got, right, if you don't want to do that, is just Sessegnon him for White and then bench Matip. So you could do something like that. I don't dislike that particularly. I think that's a decent option. Again, these are all luxury transfers, though. This is probably the first team I've looked at where it's literally like you've got most of the major bases covered. I don't think you desperately need to make any transfers there, Steve. We've got Jice with his team ID coming through. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. 10 points behind my mini league. First has Kane and Salah. Okay. So maybe Kane and Salah aren't going to help you as much then. Right. Let's have a look at this team then. Trent to Cash. Mount would come in. Alonso in for Gordon. So I assume you're looking something like this. Yes, you need you really need to get a defender in for either Cash or Mikalenko. So I'd probably do it in for Cash, and it's got to be Sessegnon or Emerson Royale probably because you want to stay fairly cheap. That gives you 5.6 million in the bank. I don't know. I'd still be tempted by Kane, but if not, Vardy in for Richarlison, or take Gordon out. Got 10.2. You could go for the likes of Diaz if you wanted to double up on the Liverpool attack, or you could go for Foden. Right, that might be a nice option to attack the City starting 11. How much did you have, sorry? 10.2, yeah. You don't have the likes enough for the likes of Sterling and KDB. Could do something like that. I think any of those mid-priced options are fine. I think the priority transfer for you needs to be bringing in Sessegnon or Emerson Royale for one of your defenders. And then outside that, you can either do the Foden move or you could just bring in like Tony for Ings or Richarlison. I think you've got multiple potential options there. I do think that you probably need to take a -4. And the fact that you've got money in the bank does help that. I wouldn't be taking more than a -4. I don't think you necessarily need to here. Got Somnath with his team ID. What are your thoughts, mate? Let's have a look. How long we got till the deadline, by the way? Just over an hour till the deadline. Plenty of time to make our decisions. Right. Trent to Luca Dean. Salah. Oh, you still got your Salah in there. Okay. Right, so again, this massively depends on what happens with Salah. If we don't get early team news on Salah, I'd be tempted to keep him, especially as you already own Son. If you don't, how many transfers? You've got one free transfer. It's going to have to be Salah out to fund another move, right? And at this stage, I mean, you could even go for something like Mane. So Salah to Mane. And I'd probably be looking at Gordon out for a mid-price midfielder, right? So someone like Barnes. And I'd probably be leaving it there, right? And obviously, you can captain whoever you want at this stage. It would mean that you need to play Richarlison or Coutinho. It's not ideal. I don't know if you want to take an extra hit. You could potentially go to a -8. Like I said, I'm just not sure about a -8 on the final day of the season when you've got no extra time to try and make up that hit. So, like, by all means, you could go then Coutinho to, how much are you going to have in the bank? 7 million. I mean, there are other options. Like, you could double up on the Leicester midfield. You could go for something like a Visser if you wanted to. But like these are all massive punts and the likelihood of them paying off in 1 week is probably relatively low. I would try and take a -4 and maybe just field a slightly suboptimal team. But if you want to attack it and you want to really go for it, I don't mind a -8 in your situation. Got Lucas with the super chat. Team ID. Ross, thanks for all the pods this season. Good luck for the final week. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Is Salah benched? Yes, Salah is benched according to Andy's source, who tends to be pretty accurate across the season. I think it's just a random guy DMing him, but I think Andy's now realised that the person that DMs him is actually quite accurate. So we'll have to wait and see there. Right, Trent in for Cash. Schmeichel in for Pickford. Mount in for Watkins. Okay, so this is your team. How much you got in the bank? 0.8 in the bank, 1 free transfer. So Watkins to Tony looks like an obvious move, or Watkins to a striker, which is that could be Tony, it could be Callum Wilson. Like, I'm not going to tell you exactly what players to go for. That would be the obvious one transfer. I would probably leave it there. Like, I don't think you desperately need to make any moves above and beyond that. So Tony in for Watkins. Who's super chat are we looking at here? Lucas, by the way. This is Lucas's one. You're thinking Cash to Sessegnon and Zaha to Diaz. I don't think you need to take out Zaha personally. I think there are other worse players in your team. I don't mind the Cash to Sessegnon. The issue with Cash to Sessegnon is you end up benching Zaha anyway, or you end up benching Dewsbury, or you end up benching someone that you wouldn't necessarily want to or need to bench. I would probably just do the 1 free transfer if I'm being completely honest. But I don't mind that if you want to bring Sess in, something like that. Bit of a Christmas tree formation, an upside down Christmas tree. It's not the worst thing in the world. Right, let's have a little bit of a scroll through Twitter and see what else is happening. Do you know what? Let's go to... Let's have a look. Cool. Right. Apparently I have... That's nice. I have 185 notifications on Twitter. Not particularly ideal. Right. What am I doing? What am I doing? This. Bang. You. Right. Any news coming in? So this was the tweet, by the way, that Andy tweeted. So it was very cryptic, but obviously he's saying that Salah's benched there. As always, never a 100% guarantee, but I'm making my move based off the info. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. I saw someone said something about the changing... Oh, there you go. So FPL Villain has said, Emi Martinez rested apparently makes City assets more appealing. So maybe if you were looking for a reason to captain De Bruyne or looking for a reason to bring in Gabriel Jesus, Foden, this obviously makes them more appealing. And this isn't to say, obviously, Villa's backup keeper, is it Steer? Isn't fantastic, but obviously they're not Emi Martinez. So that's something to keep an eye on there. Can't see any other news so far. I think we're fine for now. Yeah, City assets do become a lot more appealing now, don't they? They definitely become more appealing. So we've got about an hour till the deadline, guys. So plenty of time still to get your questions in. Do let me know what you think. Like I said, if you want me to check the super chats, if you want me to check your team, you can drop your super chats via like your team ID via super chats, basically. Sessegnon or Ericsson? I think Sessegnon actually, to be honest. But I quite like Ericsson, Vissar, and Burma. I like all of the punts on the Brentford players, but I don't know. I probably think Tony, Sess, and then the other Brentford players would be my way of doing it. Sessegnon or Alonso from -4. If Alonso starts, Alonso's the better option for me. There's a slight worry though for me that Alonso doesn't start. I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans predicting Kennedy starts at left wing back or Saul. So, will Mahrez start tonight or to change him to Bowen or Mount? If I had to guess, I would say Mahrez doesn't start, but I'd wait because if he does, playing against a slightly rotated Aston Villa side, you never know. Rank Wilson, Sessegnon, Diaz, and Tony. Diaz, Tony, Sess, Wilson, I think. They're all good options, though. Who is likely to come off for Salah's cameo appearance? I would suggest probably Jota. Jota at 60 minutes. Ross, what game will you be watching? I'll probably have just a live stream up. Either Andy's live stream or Sky Sports or Pitchside have got a live stream as well. I'll have some kind of live stream up and probably the Manchester United game on the other screen. I don't tend to really watch the football. I'm more interested in just like the scorelines and stuff on the final day. And then I'll watch Match of the Day this evening. Can't see Gerrard benching Martinez. He's very, very, very reliable, P-Macker. I would trust Villain. Ross, look at team news and ticks. Okay. I'm told Leicester are full strength. I asked specifically about Barnes because you guys asked. He starts. Nice. Nice. Here we go. So Barnes starts. Madison and Vardy should start as well, but he didn't. The only one that he's confirmed is Barnes. Barnes starting. Cool. We got 2 people chuck their IDs as well for me to have another look at. So we'll quickly go back to those. What am I doing? Focus, Ross. Focus. There's no time to mess about. Right. Change ID. Right, you gave me some information as well, didn't you? Citizen erased. You said, right, you've given me your ideas. I don't want to look at your ideas. I want to try and tell you what, because if I look at your ideas, I'm just gonna repeat your ideas. If this was, wow, that is a nice team, isn't it? If this were my team, what would I be doing? Cool. Not a lot, to be honest. I think your team is fine. I'll be honest. Looking at this, the only move I would be willing to make is probably a striker move. I know you're going to probably be tempted to take out the likes of Saka, but again, he's playing at home against Everton. He's on penalties. I'm not convinced that's the best move. So it would be a very boring Richarlison to Tony or Richarlison to Wilson and just play a 4-5-1. You've got Matip and Ketia and Pukki are good subs. I don't think you need to do a lot with this team, honestly, mate. Obviously, if we get news that Salah's out, all right, so this is assuming that we get some kind of... Oh, he's benched, isn't he? What am I doing? Ignore me. Lost the plot. I forgot we got the Salah news. Right, I'd have Mane in for Salah then. And that gives you 9.4. It would still probably be then Tony in. I suppose you don't need to make the Tony move because you can start in Ketia. I'd still be tempted by the -4. It would be something along the lines of this. The other option you've got, right, is you start in Ketia. Who was this? This was Richarlison, right? And then instead of taking Nketiah out, you take Saka out. That would give you 8.4. So you could even do something like Maddison, Barnes, or Diaz in here. I mean, you could even go for the Liverpool double up in attack. I think that would be my move, right? If this were my team, I think I would do Salah and Saka out, I guess, and bring in Mane and Diaz and just attack that Liverpool game. It's a tricky one, though. Omar Kofi with the super chat. Right, here's your team, Omar. Right, let's get the players in that you'll probably be starting. Right. Yeah, so you probably need to take a hit here looking at the team. 1.8 million in the bank. Let's have a look. So no Son is the clear omission here. So I'm wondering if there's a way for you to get Sonny into your team. Did you give me any information? I'm tied in first. Second place has Son, though, but he's definitely taken at least a -4. What would you do? I want to captain Vardy. Yeah, I don't mind captaining Vardy at all. I would probably try and get Son in, though, if you can. It's going to probably have to be... Can you afford? Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look if there is a way to do it. I think you'd have to take a -8, wouldn't you, to get Sonny in? Yeah. Unless you do it for Zaha. It depends how much you think Zaha's going to do well. Right, you could easily get Sonny in here. Right, then you need to find 2.5 million. It's not... You're probably going to have to go without Son, aren't you? So I would probably be looking at something like Watkins to Tony. And then I would try and probably cover that Spurs game if possible. So I'd be looking at something like Kulusevski and for Gordon. I would probably go something along the lines of that. Still cap Vardy, that's absolutely fine. I'd want to cover that Spurs game a little bit with Kulusevski, and then bringing in Tony allows you to bench Richarlison. So I think I would be going with something along those lines. But again, take it with a pinch of salt, make your own decisions. But I think that's roughly what I would be doing here. Right, we've got Hamed says Salah to Son. Yeah, right. So you give me your options. Let me have a look first what I think I would do with your team. Maybe we'll do some more like videos and streams like this next year of like taking your IDs and letting you know what I would do with your teams. Because I think it's useful to see the way that I would approach different situations. Wow. That's a pretty perfect team apart from Salah, isn't it? So Salah to Son, pretty straightforward. Is that did you say specifically you don't want to go with Son at all? No, right. So you're fine with going with Son. Then that gives you 4.3 million. I would probably therefore be looking at... You don't want to take out any of your defenders. It would probably be your striking spot. I would probably be going for Vardy in there. Yeah? If you like that, I would probably be going for Son and Vardy in for Salah and Weghorst. What did you say? You said Salah to Son, Ramsey to Mount for a -4. Yeah, I don't mind Ramsey to Mount. The issue is if you do that, who are you benching? I think I prefer Vardy in there. I don't mind Havertz as well, Hamed, but I just think the fact you can get Vardy looks really nice there, doesn't it? Focus, Raptor. We need you 100%. Apologies. I'm focused. In about 20 minutes, I'll probably stop doing this sort of stuff and we'll just focus purely on early team news. All right, we'll focus as much as we possibly can on getting that early team news in for you. So Aaron, one of our members, has just given me his team ID and said, if you want to see a team with too many transfer options, right, so back four and keeper's fine. Midfield is fairly okay. You probably need to take at least a -4 here. You've got 2.5 million in the bank. Yeah, you've got quite a few options, actually, haven't you? Cool, that is a tough one. I think I'd want some Liverpool attacker in here if you can. Something like Diaz. I know it's a little bit boring, but I would be on something probably close to that. And then if you wanted to take one final hit, you could get Barnes in. This is a -8. I'm not sure how much I advocate taking a -8. I think I would do that. I wouldn't captain Barnes, though. I think I'd do something like that. So the transfers were Coutinho, Watkins, and Gordon to Diaz, Tony, and Barnes. Something along those lines would probably be what I'd be aiming for. Hopefully that helps you. Any team news on Chelsea yet? I haven't seen anything. Let me have another quick look through Twitter. Let's have a look. So it's positive that Team News and Ticks, that account that I just tweeted, let me link you his actual Twitter so that you can keep an eye on him. He's very, very good for early team news. It's positive that he's at least getting some early team news already. Right, this Twitter account here, he's getting early team news already, which is obviously a positive. I haven't seen anything else just yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. We are only 61 subscribers. 61 subscribers off of 15,000. If you're watching this and you've not yet subscribed, if you're one of those people that is watching this, there'll be someone. please hit the subscribe button. It's completely free for you to do. Right, let's carry on looking at some teams. And then we'll go back to my team in a bit and just discuss, because some people might not have seen it yet. Can't do that, can you, Ross, you idiot? Like that. Okay, so your team's actually looking really, really nice already. Really, really nice. Who was this? Who's doing it? Jeffson. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name, sorry. 1 free transfer, Son and Vardy. / Son -8/4. Don't even know what that means. Apologies. It would be Son, right? So Son would definitely be coming in. Obvious transfer, I guess, but still, I think probably the most sensible transfer. And then it's really that striking position that you need to sort, isn't it? I'd probably just go really straightforward again, Son and Tony. If you fancy being a little bit more risky, you don't have to go with Tony. Of course, there are lots of other options that you could bring in. Wilson is one of the differentials that I really like for this week. Right, so there are multiple options in there. I mean, you could always take out Coutinho as well. I just think there's not a need to. Gelhardt's fine as a first sub. I think your team midfield is absolutely perfect. Like, that is basically the perfect midfield for this week. Defense is looking really strong as well. I think it's just that striking spot. So I'd be going Son and Wilson probably. Cool. Got a team ID from YKTV. If you are looking to use this site, as it says at the top of the graphic, this is FPL.team that I'm using right now. It's completely free to use. I'm not sponsored by FPL.team. I know the guy that created the website though, and I know he's working on an app for next season as well, which is super cool. So we might be able to get this site on a mobile application. Okay. All right. So you're in a similar situation where the team's not looking great, but you've got like 3 that you could potentially take out. You didn't say anything in the thing. So you've got 4.1 in the bank. That's absolutely brilliant. Right. So I would be going Diaz in for Coutinho. And then Vardy in for Watkins. And then probably Tony in for a Richarlison. I'd probably go for a -8 there, to be honest. Looking at that team. Vardy, Diaz, and Tony I'd be bringing in. And then if you want to go a little bit rogue, you can captain whoever you want. You can captain Diaz, you can captain Vardy if you wanted to. But I think that sets your team up really nicely. Again, I'm not a massive fan of taking huge hits, such as a -8. But when the team's not looking great, you want to enjoy the final day. Why not give it a go? Why not give it a go? Got Will Bateman next. Chasing 15 points in my mini league. Okay, so you need either a couple of differentials or a differential captaincy at 15 points probably. 15 points isn't a massive amount in a mini league. Like I said, in an overall rank, that's a ridiculous amount of points to try and make up. It's more like 22, 23 points. But in a mini league, you just need one player to absolutely go mental, which can always happen. 1.5. Right, bro, you can't afford... Broya to Tony looks like an obvious move. The issue is, of course, that you need to find 0.1 million to do that. Your keepers are a bit naff as well, aren't they? It's not ideal, particularly. I'm not sure I'd make a keeper transfer, though. I'm not sure I would bother with that. I guess Fabian Schär to Sessegnon is the way that I would find that money. Or not. Did that not say Schär? Oh, he's 4 point. I did not realise Schär was that cheap. Bloody hell. It's going to have to be Saka that comes out then, right? It would have to be Saka that comes out for someone. The issue is I don't like doing that. I guess the other options you've got is not going for Tony. Let me refresh your team, reset it. This one's a slightly trickier one, I'll be completely honest. I don't think this is an easy one to decide what to do with your team. I guess you could just start Schär. That's not the end of the world, I guess, if you want to do that. And then you can just take a real punt on something. So I guess you could just take out Schär if you wanted to. 5.6 million. Is that Alonso? No, he's 5.7. That's annoying. Again, it would probably be Cess. Maybe something like that. I've not been particularly helpful on that one. That's a slightly trickier one to try and work out what I would do with, Will. Because you're 15 points behind in your mini league, I would be looking at players that people above you don't own. So if people above you don't own Saka, keep him. If everyone above you owns Saka, maybe you can take Saka out, and maybe that can be the risk that you take. I think it really does need to be dictated by what's going on above you. $20 points behind my mini league leader. Thanks for the content this season. Love the work. And then you forgot to put your code in. That's absolutely fine. Let me grab the code. How do we pronounce your name, by the way? Let me know in the chat. Trigv? It's going to be nothing like that. And let me know where you're from as well. It's a cool name. Change. Team ID. Bang. Right. So I'll probably only do a few more of these, and then we'll start focusing on early team news, guys. Team's looking really strong there. Team's looking very, very strong. What was your comment again? I completely forgot what your comment was. 20 points behind my mini. Okay, God, sorry, you're right. So you still need to take some risks then. Where are some risks that you could take here? So straight away, I'd have my armband on Vardy or Mount. If you're going to if you need to make up that sort of level of points, I would captain one of those. Outside of that, I think you can probably end up taking a slight risk with the attacker. So I would maybe be looking at maybe someone like Richarlison out for like genuinely someone like a Wilson. Like try and take a risk, a punt on someone that you think like no one else is going to own. And then maybe play him ahead of like Nketiah or something. It realistically, because your team's pretty set, and I don't think you're going to want to be taking many of those out, the focus for you's got to be on nailing that captaincy. So think about someone in your team, Mount, Vardy, James, Cancelo, Trent, even Kulusevski. Think about someone that you would be happy captaining, and that's where you're going to probably make up those 20 points. So Peter, I just seen your message. Let me do that. Thank you for being here, by the way, guys. Just really, really appreciate the support all season. You wouldn't believe how much it means to me. Everyone that likes the videos, watches the videos, subscribes to the channel. I'll get soppy once the deadline's gone. But I just want to, for those of you that are still here and watching this, I appreciate each and every one of you very, very much. So thank you. What a strange team. I love this team. It just looks a bit different. Mendy in goal. That just looks a little bit Foden. I haven't seen a lot of people with Foden. You still got Salah in there. I like this a lot. It's a bit of a different team. Every other team look very, very similar. So what did you attach, you said, Peter? My opponent has Mount and will almost certainly take Captain Son. I've already taken a -4. You're 2 points ahead. I would maybe block with... Oh, my camera's just lagged out there. I'm still here, by the way, guys. I just need to reset my camera. I would probably still block with Son. The fact that you're ahead, I know that's a slightly defensive thing to do, but if Son goes crazy, you've lost your mini league, and I just don't think that's worth it. So I would maybe still be looking at going Son. Then what was the rest of the stuff you said? Your opponent has Mount. Again, you could just block him with Son and Mount. I think the potential is there to go a little bit different with the rest of what you do. So I would probably be looking at Gordon to, how much you got? 6.6. I'd be looking at Gordon to Barnes or something like that. Right, and then again, you can play what if you don't want to play Richarlison, there are multiple other players you've got that you can play there ahead of him. I would block with Son, right? I would absolutely block with Son. I don't think you necessarily need to block both Son and Mount. I think that's maybe a little bit too defensive for my liking. So maybe, or you can do the opposite. Maybe you only block Mount, you don't block Son. It's completely up to you what you want to do. I don't think you need to get super defensive with both transfers. Banazar says, Kane for a -4 versus Vardy for free will be capping, chasing my mini league 20 points. I still think Kane's the slightly better option, but for free, it completely depends who you think will score more points. Ignore the hit. My personal opinion, I know it's a crazy thing to say, ignore the hit, try not to focus on the hit, and just go for who you think is going to score the most points, is my personal opinion on that. Because if you're captaining them, 4 points is actually 2 points, and that's just really not enough for me to worry about the hit. For me, I'm much more interested in who do you prefer? Do you prefer Vardy? Do you prefer Kane? Go with that person. Hi Ross, my message from my super chat. Yeah, I know a lot of people. I haven't actually done I've only given a couple of super chats to other channels. I know a lot of people, like, for some reason the message doesn't attach. That's fine. So Azar, let me do your team next. If you've just come into the stream, by the way, guys, if you want to drop a super chat, doesn't really matter how much particularly, you can do so, and I'll check I'll have a look at your team via your team ID. So you just have to attach your team ID and give me a bit of context as, like, how many points in your mini league leader are you trying to make up, etc. What did you say? What was your message? 10 points to make up. Right, you've got Salah. Cool, right. So what would I do? Again, Salah to Son is a very obvious move. Again, with 10 points to make up, it really does depend on if the person above you has Son. I still think I would want to make the move. I just think Son is arguably, along with Kane, the best option this week, as everyone knows. It's then with that next transfer, you've got 1.8 in the bank. I would probably bench Watkins, and I would probably focus on the midfield. So in this spot here, I'd be looking at Maddison and Diaz. And to be honest, I'd be tempted by Diaz. I'm almost certain Diaz will start, especially if Salah's not starting. I think those would be my moves. And if you don't want to captain Son, again, if you want to go a little bit rogue, you've got Luis Diaz, you've got Mount in there. I think that team's good enough for me. So I'd still go Son, even though you're chasing. I'd maybe make the second move a little bit more risky in someone like Luis Diaz. Just going to check Twitter very, very briefly, see if we see anything else. Now that we've got confirmation that... Not confirmation fully, but Team News and Tick said that Leicester have gone full strength. And I spoke to Sam Martin in a group chat, and he said that he would be very surprised if Vardy's benched. It does make me a little bit more tempted to go with Vardy. This is my team, by the way, guys. We just switched back to my team. That's what my current team is lining up. Just thought I'd quickly check Twitter to see if we're getting any more team news coming through. Nothing on... Chelsea looks really, really quiet at the moment. I haven't seen not even like Azpilicueta, like not even the obvious leaks are coming through from Chelsea. I'm not sure why. Again, we've got still about 38 minutes till the deadline. So we've got time. It's not looking promising, though. There's not been that many leaks thus far. I'll be in about 15 minutes, quite early. I'm going to do Watkins or Richarlison to Tony. The only reason I would be tempted to do Richarlison, let me just show you guys, because there is a chance that I do, even though I think Richarlison's a better sub. If I just show you, and I know this is people will laugh at me for wanting to do this. I've just got a good fit. It's one of those punts, right? If I do Watkins to Tony, because Tony went up in price annoyingly, I can't afford to do much with Gordon. I've only got 5.1. And there just aren't that many options for me. If I just skip to 5.1 here, like, I don't want any of these players. However, if I restore Watkins and I actually do Richarlison to Tony, that leaves me 5.2 in the bank, which is actually enough to do my main man, Brian Mbeumo, in there. And I know, he hits the post a lot. He's not very good. It's the double up on Brentford attack, all of that stuff. I just like it. I like the fixture. I like it as a punt. He's got decent goal threat. He still takes shots. His underlying data has actually been pretty decent in recent weeks, similar to that of Visser and Eriksson. I quite like that. The other option I've got is doing Richarlison to Tony, and then in that Zaha spot, I've got 7.5. So I could even go like Maddison, Barnes in there rather than Zaha. Or again, the final option is in that Matty Cash spot. I've got 5.8 million, right? So I can bring in Sessegnon, Emerson Royale, Rico Henry could be a decent shout. I've got a feeling he'll do quite well. I could bring in a number of players in that spot there. So I have various options. As things stand, the Tony move looks pretty dead cert there in for me. Tony looks like he's going to be coming in. Just by the way, this is my game week history this season. Look at my overall rank, right? This column here, this one here, this is your overall rank. Look at how consistently just Ridiculous this has been. Look at my over look 32k, 38k, 37k, 32k, 37k, 50, 54. So I had a bad week there. 44, 38, 31, 35, 39, 30, 30, 30. I've been at 30-ish k for the entirety of the season, what it feels like. If you can look all the way back to around game week 11, it was. The only time I went outside the top 100k was after that Havertz incident in game week 9. But outside of that, it's been ridiculous. I can't seem to break forward. Even when I take risks, it just doesn't seem to pay off particularly. So, yeah. I suppose it is what it is, isn't it, guys? It's one of those seasons where I've just had a little bit of a struggle trying to push forward. Right, we've had a few super chats whilst I wasn't looking. I'm just going to get back through those there, and then we'll move on to some other questions. So, again, if you've just joined the stream, what we're doing is I'm just taking some of the guys' team IDs and giving them advice as to what I would do with their team. We are only 43 subscribers off of 15,000. I would absolutely love to hit it before the deadline, or even after the deadline, but it would be great to hit before. So if you're watching this and you have not yet subscribed, it would mean the world to me. We're only 43. There's got to be 43 people that are watching now, listening to me ramble on about wanting 15,000 that have not yet subscribed. There's got to be. Right, whose team have I just taken here? Will Scott. Need to make up 11 points. We have a monthly prize, okay? And I have triple captain. Go for the home run with a big hit or just sell it out for KDB. I would be more tempted by Mane, but yeah, if you want to go De Bruyne, I don't mind that. Werner's a dodgy one. I don't know that Werner will start. Well, he hasn't had that much football recently, so maybe he does. How much does that give you? It gives you 1.2. I would probably look at De Bruyne or Mane in. And then I would be looking at someone in this spot here for Gordon. You could just go for like Visser or Ericsson. Something like that for a -4. I think that's fine. For 11 points, I would be tempted by De Bruyne or Mane captaincy. But I think you could still go with Son. And I think you've got enough differentials in this team that you don't need to captain a differential. If it were my team, I would be bringing in Mane for Salah. And I would bring in someone like Visser or Ericsson in for Gordon. And I would play along those lines. Like I said, I quite like Mbermo, but don't feel like you've got to copy that. Schnapp says 57-point lead. 12-point hit for Kane and shield players. I don't think you need to worry about shielding players. I think just play your own game at 57 points. I don't think there's too much of a worry there. Someone just said Nketiah benched in the chat. Let me check. Let me check if there's any reliable news on that. So there's rumours that Richarlison is benched, by the way. There's rumours that Richarlison is benched. I wouldn't take that 100%. The person has said that it's a rumour, he doesn't know for sure. Where's this Nketiah stuff? I haven't seen anything on Nketiah personally. This is the tweet on Richarlison, by the way. Take it or leave it. I don't know how accurate it is, but this is the tweet on Richarlison. FPL Prince isn't an in the know account, so I think he's either guessing or he's been told something, but that doesn't always mean. John Vassilou's got his team in here. I'm trying to get through all these super chats, by the way, guys. I would probably stop with the super chats. As much as I appreciate, unless you're just giving a super chat to say thank you, but giving your team, just because we're approaching 30 minutes from the deadline, I'm going to need to start concentrating. So I'm only going to do these last couple of teams, and then we'll start looking for early team news a little bit more, and I'll make my transfers. Okay? Wow. Yeah, your team's fine. I appreciate the super chat. I don't think you need to do a massive amount, John. I think your team looks fine. It would probably be just like Tony in for Poo. Oh, you can't afford that. Maybe like Maddison in here. Maddison in for Saka, something like that. I wouldn't be desperate to make a transfer with this team, I'll be completely honest. I think you're absolutely fine. And if you didn't get a green arrow, I would be very, very surprised. Oh, you got Salah. Didn't see Salah in there. Just do Salah in for Mane then. I'd be keeping that nice and simple. I would just be doing that. Mane in for Salah. Got Lewis. Not a bad team, I know. I've taken some bad punts. I'm open to hits. Thanks. Okay, Lewis, let's have a look. By the way, guys, like I said, we are 30 minutes away from the deadline now, so start thinking about sorting those transfers because there is every chance that the site crashes. Final game week of the season, everyone's making transfers. In the past, we've had a few site crashes on the last game week, so I wouldn't wait too long. I'm going to be making my move very soon. Yeah, it's not a bad team at all, is it, mate? It's not a bad team at all. 2.6 million in the bank. I'd probably just be doing... Do you want Son? Depends how much you want Son in there, I guess. If you're very desperate for Son... Let's have a look how you could get Sonny in there. 1.6. Yeah, so it would have to be Son in and then Pookie down to just a budget enabler. If you're not desperate for Son, I'd just go Diaz in for Coutinho. Oh, you got 3 Liverpool. I didn't see Alisson in there. Yeah, okay. I'd probably just go Kulusevski then if you're not going to go for Son. But if you want to go for Son, I don't mind that at all, and I think it probably makes sense. Mahrez is the other issue. We don't know that Mahrez is going to start. If we get anything in the next half an hour, it might be that you want to take Mahrez out. I think, again, it's a team where I'd be surprised if you don't get a green arrow. Vardy, Kane, Son, Bowen, Tony, or Diaz as captain. I'd probably say Son and Kane at the top, closely followed by Vardy, in my opinion. Great stream and keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Right, that's going to be it for looking at team IDs. Apologies if I didn't get around to anyone. I think I answered all the super chats. I want to focus now on my team and also getting us early team news as well, rather than looking at that stuff. Right. Just having a look on Twitter, guys, seeing if we get any early team news. Would you guys rather see my... I'll end that poll. Would you guys rather see my Twitter or would you rather see my team? I can show you my Twitter feed as I'm scrolling, or I can just show you my team. You said it's a bad team, Lewis. I think it's a good team. I think you're fine. I think you're looking good, mate. Everyone's saying Twitter. Okay, I'll show you my Twitter. That's fine. I'll be making my Tony move very soon. Probably in the next 5 minutes, by the way. I've got far too many notifications. Oh dear. just like that. That worries me. literally just as I bring up my Twitter. Bloody hell. So Sam Martin's just said no Alonso or James sneaking about. It's interesting because he doesn't normally get team news from other accounts and other teams. He's normally solely... It's really not ideal. Right, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. Yeah, I'm not doing team IDs anymore. Apologies, guys. I've already done enough of those. I just want to focus on early team news and getting my transfers sorted. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an interesting one. I don't know if he's sometimes on a wind-up, to be fair. He's sometimes on a wind-up, so I'm not 100% sure that I'm worrying too much about that. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if both of them were benched. It wouldn't surprise me at all. That Vieira photo. Yeah, I know. It's incredible meme material, isn't it, that Vieira photo? Hit for Saka to Maddison, top of my mini league. depends. I'm not sure I will be taking out Saka for a hit personally. Guys, we are 32 subscribers off of 15,000. Please, 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 if you can take 2 seconds, it's completely free for you to do. Scroll down, just hit the subscribe button. Completely free for you to do. No disadvantage to you. Massively helps me. I would love in the next 20 minutes before the deadline to hit 15,000 subscribers. So please, if you're one of the 600 that haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Has he replied to Andy? I would be surprised if he tweeted that if he didn't have news. Now, do we act on that? Do we act on this? Do we take out Alonso and Mount? Alonso and James, sorry, not Mount. nothing on Mount yet. Let's talk about this genuinely. If Alonso's benched, we take Alonso out, right? Or do you think Alonso gets 20 minutes off the bench and that's better than taking a hit? I'll be honest, this makes me want to take a hit. If we just switch back to my team then, based on that news, if I do Tony in for Richarlison, because apparently there's rumours he's been benched anyway, and I wouldn't want him in my team regardless. I can then either take out Alonso or take out Cash or take out Zaha. I'd probably end up taking Cash to Sessegnon's a fine option, I think, or Gordon to Mbermo, who I've just got a decent feeling about. Right, and then I'd bench Alonso. If we're acting on that news from San Martin, I'd bench Alonso, or like I said, I could just go Sessegnon rather than Mbermo. Which, to be fair, is arguably a better, it's arguably a better transfer, realistically, isn't it? And I've wanted Sessegnon for a while now, so maybe I'd do that. Just cover the Spurs clean sheet. Sessegnon's got really good data going forward. Tony and Sessegnon in for a -4 could be a decent shout. And I would be lining up in a 4-4-2 with Alonso first sub. Ross, please answer. James for captain. Probably not based on this. I'm trying to see. He's not replying to anyone, which is annoying. I was hoping he'd say whether it was confirmed or if he's just heard like a really weak rumor. Looks like Heaton starts. Okay, so Zaha just looks like a much better option now. Paddy Odds on FPL has just tweeted a picture of Tom Heaton, which means that there's a decent chance Zaha does quite well. So I probably won't take out Zaha now. Have we had any Liverpool news yet? Surprised there's been no Liverpool news. Sorry, Chris, I'm not doing team IDs anymore, my man. Apologies. Chuck it in the Discord chat and someone might be able to answer. I'm trying to stay up to date with the latest team news. Basically, just waiting for my feed to refresh. Basically, that's all I've seen so far that I'm happy acting on. This is making me want to take a hit now. The issue is that the players that I want are all in midfield, right, guys? So the players that I want, but I don't really want to take out many of my midfielders. The other option I've got is to go someone relatively cheap rather than Tony. Someone like a Welbeck. That would give me 6.9. I could go Maddison or Barnes in midfield. Is that better than Tony and Sorry. I don't have that much at all, do I? I have 6.1. Oh, goodness me. I don't have a clue. Don't have a clue. I think I just make the Tony move and react after that and decide if I want to take a hit for Alonso. What are you guys saying in the chat? What are you thinking? What are we thinking? Where is the news that the rumour that Richarlison is benched? That's come from FPL Prince, who's not an in the know account. I think he's either guessing or he's got some unofficial news because he's never had news before. Mate, is Jesus going to start? I would guess that Gabriel Jesus does start. I've got no clue if he actually does. Oh, I don't know. I wish bloody Sam Martin would get on Twitter and actually answer people. It's absolutely outrageous behaviour to just drop that tweet. The thing is, it makes sense to either get rid or to bench then. There's no point having James and Alonso. Yes, there's a small chance that they get something off the bench, but hoping for a fullback to get an attacking return in 20 minutes, just it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't take out Alonso, I don't think. But I would take out someone else to bench Alonso. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing with your Alonso and James assets now? What's your plan? Any news updates? Kids are about driving me mad. This is the only update we've had so far that's reliable. There's rumours that Richarlison is benched, and we've had pretty much confirmation that Salah's benched. Outside of that, I don't think there's a massive amount of news. Guys, we are 12... Sorry, we're 12 subscribers off of 15,000. Last time I'm going to ask, all we need is 12 people that have not yet done so. Please subscribe to the channel. 15,000 was my goal before the end of the season a few months ago. So please, 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 if you are one of the 12 people in here that is not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd massively appreciate that. Yeah, Alonso and James is the only news so far. So I'm thinking genuinely about taking out Cash and benching Alonso. It's getting really close. I'm gonna make a transfer. Right, let me switch my screen then. I'm gonna make a transfer now. I'm gonna bring in Tony, just because I've wanted to do that all morning. No more news. Okay, right. Tony's coming in for Richarlison. I'll have Watkins on the bench, and I guess just hope that I don't need him. So Tony's coming in. Right, one transfer done. Right, that's my one transfer done. Then I just need to decide, do I want to take another hit? I could bring in Callum Wilson for Watkins. I could bring in Mason. I could bring in Mbermo for Gordon. I could bring in Sessegnon for Cash. What Chelsea news? Listen, Chris, I just told you. Apparently Alonso and James are benched. That's the news. Take it as you will. It's Sam Martin tweeting completely cryptically. He's not given us any specific info, but I doubt he would tweet that if it... Okay. I've seen a lot of people benching Alonso as a result. I think I will make another move and bench Alonso. I'm tempted by Wilson in for Watkins. What do you guys think? Wilson in for Watkins. Who says no? Who says who says no to that? Sorry, I'm switching between screens here. I'm trying to obviously keep up to date with news and showing you that, and also making the moves myself. So I've made one move. Tony in for Richarlison. I can make the Watkins move to Wilson. I quite like that. Bringing another penalty taker as well. You never know on the final day against Burnley. Burnley have to go for it. If Newcastle go 1-0 up, you could quite easily Burnley capitulate in the sort of final 10, 15 minutes if Wilson looks good to go. So that's an option. Or I'd just go Sessegnon. Maybe Sessegnon's the play. It's probably Sessegnon and Burmo or Wilson for me. Antonio, yeah, I'm tempted by Antonio as well. I just think Wilson is on penalties, and I prefer the fixture slightly. I think Wilson's a good shout. Yeah, I might end up doing that. It would be Wilson and Burmo or Sessegnon. I'm only going to wait a few more minutes. Van Dijk benched. Okay, let me have a look. Yeah, like I said, guys, we don't always get early team news, and at the moment, it's not looking great for early team news either. I'm thinking Wilson's going to be my play. I'm just going to wait. You're running a risk, by the way, guys. If you want my honest opinion, I'd be looking at making a transfer pretty soon. You're running the risk, as am I, that the site's going to crash. So it's completely up to you if you want to wait or not. I'd go for Jesus every day. Yeah, I can't go for Jesus myself, but yeah, I like Jesus as an option. I don't have the money for Jesus. Yeah, if I had the money for Jesus, I probably would go there. I don't know. I only have 8 million. Do let me know in the chat if you see anything. Zaha starts. Mateta doesn't start. Guys. There you go. No Mateta. Zaha starts, no Mateta. So good news on Zaha if you were looking at bringing him in or you already own him, but Mateta's a no-go. So look elsewhere for that. Oh, should I just do it? Should I just do it? I'm not answering sort of questions last minute. We're looking out for team news and we're trying to work out whether it's worth making moves. But yeah, by all means, let me know in the chat what you're doing. Have we hit 15,000 subscribers yet? I can take a quick second to check that. Hey, we did it. Thank you very much, guys. Massively, you don't know how much that means to me. So thank you very much. We did hit 15,000 subscribers. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Should I do it? Should I do it? Are we going to do it? You don't know the pressure of trying to make a transfer live on stream, by the way. It's so much better sitting at home doing it in peace. I really hope Sam Martin's he's not just tweeted that to wind people up. I hope that's a genuine, because I'm going to end up benching. Or do we start Alonso and hope that information's wrong? What are you guys doing with Alonso and James? What are you guys doing with Alonso and James? Right, I'm going to make the transfer. Watkins to Wilson. Or do I want Mbermo? I don't know. I really don't know if I want Mbermo or what Wilson. I think because I've already got Tony, I think I'll spread a little bit. I think I'll go Wilson. Right, it's done. -4 confirmed. -4 confirmed. For now, I'm going to bench Alonso. That doesn't feel good, though. That feels like if he starts, I'm going to absolutely have a fit that I've benched Alonso. Save my team. Captaincy still on Kane. So, by the way, guys, this is not my new... I'll show you the tweet once more because I don't want people to bench Alonso and James off the back of this and then them end up starting. The tweet from Sam Martin, let me get it back up. Take it as you will. He's really, really good for early Leicester news. I've never known him to get early Chelsea news. That's what he tweeted. Again, take that however you want to take that. I'm still tempted to start Alonso ahead of Laporte. So starting Alonso ahead of Laporte might be the one. What would you guys do? Would you start Alonso or Laporte? It's a tricky one. Richarlison's not starting, apparently. There's multiple people saying that. Again, take that as a pinch of salt. I haven't seen anything particularly convincing. I'm really tempted to still start Alonso. Starting Ketty or Kulusevski, I would be starting... I'd start Kulusevski. James starts, no Alonso. According to who? Why Laporte over Alonso? Apparently Alonso's not starting. If Alonso's starting, then I want to start him. But I don't know this. You start Alonso, huge ceiling. The guy's a striker. It's true. But I've literally got Sam Martin there saying that there's no James and Alonso. Quite, there have been really limited leaks this season, haven't there? I can't bench Alonso unless I get confirmation. Oh, I don't know though. Do I want to bench Laporte? He loves a header, doesn't he? He does love a header. Ross, follow your own advice. Trust your gut. I don't know what my gut's telling me. I need a coin. Yeah. The thing is, Sam does know other in the no accounts. I don't think Sam would tweet that on the fine. I don't think he would risk the backlash. You got 6 minutes. The site could crash any second, by the way. I'd get your team locked in. Get your team locked in before it's too late. I think I'm going to have to keep Alonso in. Like I said, unless we see anything in the next few seconds that makes me think otherwise, I'm gonna start Alonso and bench Laporte. The thing is, look, Alonso's gonna come on, isn't he? Several sources confirming James starts and Alonso benched. Alonso's gonna come on. Is he gonna come on in an attacking role? All right. Okay. I'll bench Alonso. I'll bench Alonso. I'm not really fussed either way, to be honest. I think obviously if Alonso starts, then that's a nightmare. But if he doesn't, the thing is, Alonso's going to come on for his final send off because apparently he's leaving. Does he come on in an attacking role? I could quite easily see Alonso come on into that front three. We'll have to wait and see. I think I'm happy enough with that now. Toss Laporte in. Yeah, Laporte's in. Laporte's in. Let me make sure I've saved it. Let me refresh. Site's handling well, actually. There's no delay or anything at the moment. Yeah, I think this will be my final team. -4. Tony and Wilson in for Watkins and Richarlison. This will be what I go into the final day with, guys. This is it. Make sure you lock your teams in. Make sure you lock your teams in. Thank you for the super chat, RHM. Gordon or Amati first sub? Gordon, probably. Just about. Chances of Mount starting in, would you captain? I think Mount starting, yeah, you could captain quite easily. Alonso bench is the most risk. Yeah, I don't know how Alonso's on my bench. It's making me feel sick. But if he's benched, then I would rather start Laporte. Diaz starts, does he? Got 3 minutes till the deadline, guys. Salah benched, Diaz starts. Virgil, Van Dijk benched. So Van Dijk's on the bench, Diaz starts, Salah benched. All right, so Salah and VVD on the bench, Diaz starts. If you want Luis Diaz, you can go for it. If you want to captain him, he starts. Apparently Mahrez starts. Mahrez starts, apparently. If you've got Mahrez, Jesus starts. Here you go. Apparently, that's the leaked City lineup, apparently. Edison, Stones, Cancelo, Laporte, Fernandinho, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Mahrez, Jesus, Foden. If you wanted the leaked City lineup, apparently that's it. You got 2 minutes till the deadline, guys. Get those teams locked in. Get those teams locked in. Yeah, apparently Jesus starts. Just going to refresh once more. Site is still coping at the moment. Alonso benched feels so wrong. So wrong. Alonso starts, I can feel it. I hope not. Do I just start him? Oh, I don't know whether to start Alonso or not. The thing is, if Alonso starts, he's such a good option. I'm going to leave it, I think. I'm going to leave it. We are locked, ladies and gentlemen. That is that. That is that. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that information was correct regarding Alonso and James. We'll have to see. Right, there we are. Ladies and gents, that is it. That is it. That's the season done. Well, not the season done, but that is your final deadline. Pens and pencils down. Nothing we can do now. Nothing we can do. If Alonso starts, hopefully someone else is benched. It's one of those things. Like I said, you've got to take risks, and that's the risk that I've taken. And fingers crossed. Like I said, at my rank, I'm not too fussed either way. Best of luck, peeps. It's been great being part of the family, Ross. Cheers. Yeah, thank you. And again, we did hit 15,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this now, we're on 15,016 subscribers. So we hit the target. Absolutely delighted. I will be live streaming until we get the teams in half an hour. So if you want to stay and be a part of the stream and see what my reaction is to Alonso starting, then feel free to do so. And then I'll be tuning out about 3. Yeah, Alonso might start. Fair enough. I'm not too bothered. It is what it is. It is what it is. There's a chance that we get... there's a chance that he comes off the bench anyway for me, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. God, what a season. What a season. 2.5 hour live stream to finish the season. Alonso is benched. Nice. Good decision, Ross. Alonso's benched. There you go. That tweet. So Harry, FPL Harry said, benched Alonso for... Benched Pookie for Alonso. No, benched Alonso for Pookie. And Team and Tick said, good choice. So, yeah. There we go. Yeah. I'm streaming until at least 3 o'clock, guys. We'll get all the team news in together. We'll look at who's starting, who's benched. Yeah, so I'll be streaming for at least another half an hour or so. So feel free to stay with me. Feel free to chat. Feel free to ask me any questions you want. The FPL deadline's done now. The season is pretty much done. You can ask me FPL questions. You can ask me YouTube-related questions. You can ask me personal questions. You can ask me whatever you want. Oh, he's deleted his tweet now. That's annoying. Maybe not. Correct them. I reckon Alonso, even if he doesn't start, is going to get 30 minutes. So he might still do damage and destroy my bench. We'll see. What do we think of my team then? It's not bad. It's not bad. Ross, I'm going to take off. You were great this season. Here's hoping Alonso stays off in Laporte Halls. Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right, let's have a look at some of these questions that people are asking me. Reading any books at the moment? I'm reading While We Sleep by Matthew Walker still. I'm about 60% of the way through. It's a long book. I read it before bed on my Kindle. So yeah, While We Sleep is still one of my favorite books. I've already read it before, but I'm giving it another read because I'm trying to read more. So, have you ever been to Bristol, Ross? I've not been to Bristol, no, but I would definitely consider going to Bristol. Maybe for a night out. I heard it's not too bad there. So pleased that you got 15K. I thoroughly enjoyed tuning in. Yeah, I can't believe that we hit 15,000 subscribers. When I started this YouTube channel in August, so I've only been doing this YouTube channel like 9-10 months. I remember thinking, if I can hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season, That will be amazing. Like 1,000 people subscribing. And here we are. The deadline's gone. There are 714 people watching live. 15,000 subscribers. If you don't follow me on Twitter, this season on this channel, we got 1.3 million views. 1.3 million. It's just, I'm so, so grateful. So thank you, truly. Hey Raptor, imagine you reaching 15k this game week would be coincidental. No, if I finish in the top 15k, my word, no, I'm way off there. If I can top 25k would be lovely for me, but I'm not too stressed. What's your day job, Ross, and where are you based? I'm a PhD student and lecturer, so I lecture and do my PhD at the same time, and I'm based in Nottingham. So my PhD's in sports psychology, and I lecture in sports psychology as well. So my PhD is looking at the role of virtual reality in skill acquisition in elite football. So we're working with Rezzil at the moment, the sort of leading VR company for elite sport, potentially with some Premier League clubs as well to implement some virtual reality training into their training. So yeah, that's my PhD. I'm basically sports psychology. Is the long and short of that. Thanks for everything this season, Ross. I've also benched Alonso. Fingers crossed with that one. You've been amazing this season. Thanks a million. You've helped me a great deal. I appreciate that, my man. Thank you. Thank you for all the kind words, by the way. There are loads of kind messages flooding in. If I've helped anyone, then it's definitely been worth it for sure. Thoughts on KDB winning Player of the Year? Yeah, it's just a massive recency bias thing, isn't it? Second half of the season, he's arguably been the best player. But when you look at the season as an entirety, it's got to be Salah or Son. Arguably Son, although Son struggled at the start of the season a little bit as well. So I probably would have given it to Salah. Even if I didn't give it to Salah, I would have given it to Son. The one that I actually don't mind as much is I don't actually mind the Foden winning young player. I'm not saying that he deserves it. I do think that the likes of Saka could have easily won it ahead of him. But for me, looking at Foden's goals and assists is not a good measure of whether Foden should have got player of the season. If City win the Premier League, he's played an absolutely integral role for them, and he's been absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, I'm not saying that Foden should have won it, but he's the one that I don't mind as much. But yeah, I don't think De Bruyne should have won it. Was there any news on Nketiah, Kane, Sessegnon? I saw loads of rumours floating around that Nketiah was benched, but nothing reliable enough to share it. It was just literally people saying Nketiah benched, just random people with no source. Kane and Sessegnon look like they're fine. Ross, I'm thinking about becoming an FPL content creator. Should I do it? By all means, give it a go. I would advise probably not doing written content anymore. It's just people don't really care for written articles. I spoke about this on Twitter the other day. If you're going to do something, create a YouTube channel, by all means, give it a go. I might talk about it over the summer, how to build a YouTube channel, because obviously it's been fairly successful for me. But it's, yeah, there are obviously a lot of YouTube channels out there. You probably don't even realize there are about 200 to 300 FPL YouTube channels. And obviously not all of them are as successful as mine's been this season. I've been very, very lucky. Obviously I work hard on my videos, but there is absolutely a lot of luck involved. And I've got a very big Twitter following, right? So I've got like 34,000 followers on Twitter. So I can bring a lot of my Twitter following over to YouTube as well. So it doesn't always work as successfully as it has for me this season. And you've got to be in it for the enjoyment. You should never start YouTube and think, I want it to be a side hustle. I want to make loads of money off of YouTube. It doesn't work like that. You need to get to the point of the likes of FPL Mate and Let's Talk FPL to earn enough money to live off of YouTube. So yeah, you need to start it for the sheer enjoyment and realize that if you want to create top quality YouTube videos, it takes a hell of a lot of time. So for like, I think they're fairly good quality, my YouTube videos. I probably spend 30 to 40 hours a week on YouTube content. So if you don't have that sort of spare time, you're either going to be putting out subpar content or you're just going to end up falling out with those that you like. If you don't spend any time with your family because every spare minute you spend on FPL content, it's probably not worth it. So by all means, drop me a DM and I'll try and provide some advice for anyone that's looking to start a YouTube channel. I only found out about you in Game Week 29. Never missed a stream since. Thank you so much, Raptor. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Whether you're new or whether you've been here all season, I appreciate any support from anyone that watches. Are you not going to the FPL meetup today? No, I'm not, because I'm doing this stream. I live in Nottingham. It's like 2.5 hours into London, and then I'm busy tomorrow. So it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But I'll be at Game Week 39 if anyone's tuning into that. Then I'll see some of you there. Thanks for this season, Raptor. Love your content and you are an awesome person. Keep being you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Zodiac. Are you based in Nottingham? You rooting for them to go up? Yeah, I'd love to see Forest go up. I'm not a Forest fan. I didn't grow up in Nottingham, but it would be cool to see Premier League football in Nottingham. And I'll try and get some tickets to a couple of the games for sure. I'm only about a 15-minute walk from the City ground, so I could literally walk there. Would you bin off the day job and do full-time YouTube if you became financially viable? I could get close to doing so now, but no, it's not about the financial viability for me. It's about the PhD. I want to complete my PhD. I love academia. I love education. I want to finish my PhD. I want to become a doctor, which you are. You become Dr. Dowsett, I would be. That would be me. So, no, I want to finish the PhD for me. It's not to do with financial viability. But after the PhD, I may well end up going full-time YouTube. I'll have to wait and see. PhD and an ex-professional footballer. I'm jealous. Thank God you are bald at 24. Yeah, that can't be perfect, can you? No, I've had a very good life so far, and I'm very lucky that I was blessed with being okay at football and a decent amount of intelligence. Very, very lucky indeed. Let's not forget, Let's Talk FPL is your daddy. Do you mean my actual father, or is this some sort of like, is Let's Talk FPL my pimp? Yeah. Listen, Andy's amazing. I regularly communicate with Andy. Andy's a very, very nice guy. I can't say enough positive things about Andy. So, yeah. I've gone from 3 million to 60k, probably largely because of you. It's amazing to hear. Roger, you've been an absolute legend. Thank you. Look at all this. Thank you for all the kind words, by the way, guys. I know you don't have to reach out and say this, so I appreciate it very much. Do you spend more hours on FPL or the PhD? Probably about an equal amount. If you put lecturing into the equation, I spend more time on my job and my PhD. Some weeks are just a lot. Like a couple of weeks ago, I think I did like 110 hours if you combine the PhD lecturing and YouTube. But the YouTube doesn't feel like a job. I'm not doing the YouTube to earn money. I'm doing the YouTube because I love creating FPL videos. DJ Hammer says, just wanted to use my highlighted message to say good luck to everyone and all the best. Also, thanks to Ross for making FPL. Thanks for making FPL fun for everyone here. Ross, you're more than welcome. I'm glad I could help. Google Ayushman Karuna specs resemblance. Okay. Is this going to be someone really unattractive that you're saying I look like? Okay, I see it. The glasses are definitely there, the round glasses. I mean, he's looking a little bit more tanned and handsome than I am, but yeah, I see the resemblance. Are you going to Fantasy Football Fest in August? Yeah, absolutely. I'll be going to Fest for sure. Yeah, I'll be here till we get the team news for sure. Just found out that Alonso is benched. Okay, cool. That's good news for me. I've benched him, so thanks for all of your help and hard work this year, Ross Raptor. You are the best. My man, thank you very much. How's the PhD going? Yeah, the PhD is going really well. We're looking at, like I said, working with a few companies and football clubs at the moment. So I'm very, very happy with the way the PhD is going for sure. God, the chat's moving pretty quickly for a post-deadline. Why there's 700 people here? Welcome to the show. Never have 700 people normally watching after the deadline. I appreciate that very much. Let's Talk FPL and Mate may be the bigger channels at the moment, but yourself and Focal's content analysis has been brilliant, a staple this season. Cheers. I appreciate that. Focal is, honestly, there are not many people in the FPL community that I love more than FPL Focal. I can't say enough positive things about Oscar. He's just a genuine guy. If you don't already, he's obviously got 70-something thousand subscribers, but if you don't already follow Oscar, please do go and do so. Yeah, he's a top lad. So are FPL Mate and Let's Talk FPL as well. There aren't any bad guys on Twitter. FPL Harry as well, massive fan of us as well. So they're all really, really nice guys. Ross, I'm coming to England so we can play a game of footy. I'm an ex-professional player as well. Nice stuff. Just let me know. Good stuff, Raptor. Greetings from Hong Kong. Hello, hello. Did you know your hat matches perfectly with the chair and looks like you've got weird headgear on when you're perfectly centered? Does it? I didn't notice that. I just do it because I don't really want to show my big old shiny bald head, to be honest. It gives you something a little bit nicer to look at. Thanks for informative shows on YouTube and Twitter, sometimes for football. Keep it up. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in to all of the different pieces of content throughout the year. Daniel Twist says, amazing content, Ross. The best FPL YouTube account, in my opinion. Best insights, explanations, logic, and positivity. Keep smashing it. Thank you for the super chat and thank you for the kind words as well. I appreciate it. As someone also called Ross, does anyone say that they thought of the Friends character when you tell them your name? Or does that, yeah, it happens to me every time. The issue is with me, is my name's Ross and my FPL name is Raptor. So people go, obviously, with Ross being is it paleontologist? Is that the correct name? Obviously, the dinosaur and Ross link, it's literally Ross from stream, Ross from Friends. I was watching your stream and Andy's at the same time, time towards the end only, and you were both saying very similar things about Alonso at the same time. Oh, that's spooky. The only negative thing about doing a deadline stream is that I quite like watching Andy's deadline stream. So if you're here watching me and you wasn't watching Andy, thank you. I appreciate it, because I would probably watch Andy. I don't blame you at all. Thank you, Ross, for the content. No worries, my man. You've definitely helped me win my mini league in a rank of 25k. Excellent. Cheers, Raptor. By the way, what are you going to do with your channel in the off period? I'm going to have a few weeks off because I don't think people care for FPL content straight after the season ends. And then we'll start with some pre-season content. We'll be doing like lessons learned, some psychological tips. We'll maybe do some collaborations on the channel, talking about when the game launches. We'll talk about fixtures, players to target. Like, there's going to be so much pre-season content. I cannot wait. So yeah, for sure, there will be tons of, I reckon maybe 3 to 4 weeks we'll have off of YouTube. Just because, like I said, just no one's going to watch it. And if you're on YouTube yourself, the YouTube algorithm, if I were to upload videos in the break and people weren't watching them, like they were getting like 2,000-3,000 views, it really harms my channel when the game goes live again. So it just makes sense for me, for content creators, to just take a little bit of a break over the summer. Can you give your score prediction for all your final? Yeah, we can do maybe score predictions in a bit, for sure. Is Fest in August? Yeah, Fantasy Football Fest will probably be the Friday. If there's a deadline, it'll be the Friday deadline of Game Week 1. That's what it was last season. People probably came from Andy's channel. Yeah, I know. It's funny. Like my views were at 1,200 and something at one stage, and then it hit 12:30, which is when Andy started streaming, and they went, which is fine. Andy's just finished streaming, hence your increase in viewers. There hasn't actually been an increase in viewers. It's exactly the same amount. But yeah, I'm sure a few people came out over from Let's Talk FPL. I'm not trying to compete with Andy. It's ridiculous trying to compete with Andy. Oscar is quality for taking that family and respect to him. Yeah, exactly. Not many people would do that. So, what's your highlight of the season so far? Good question. I'm going to do a season review on Tuesday. It'll be coming out on Wednesday. I'll do a season review. Over 35k, I made a promise to join Rap Tier 1 if I reach top 10k. Sadly, doesn't seem to work out unless Mane scores 4. Fingers crossed Mane scores 4 goals then. Congrats on 15k, Ross. So much effort into your content. You'll get to 50k next season. You've helped me at my first FPL season, sitting at 50k overall rank. That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 50,000 subscribers. Imagine if we hit 50,000 subscribers next season. That would be remarkable. When does the FPL site get updated for new players, position changes, and price changes? It's complete. If I had to guess, I would say the final week of June or the first week of July. It's different every year, though. Depends how many changes they make. Depends on when the fixtures go live. Depends on when they want to launch the game. They can't launch it too early, but they also don't want to wait too late. If I had to guess, it would be last week of June, first week of July. Sal and Kennedy start, supposedly. Well, that's good news for a bench and Alonso. Yeah. Then I'd be surprised if both of those start and Alonso also starts. You could do a second channel for talking about sports psychology, talking about different sports and the psychology. Yeah, I could do. I just don't have enough time, mate. I'd love to, Callum. Like, I really would, but it's just I'm already flat out doing FPL stuff. And I've got more planned for next year as well. And I don't want to neglect this channel just to create another channel, so... June 22nd last year. Oh, okay, you've just deleted that. Yeah, send that again if you've got any idea. Let's have a look if did Andy did Andy I didn't realize Andy wore a suit. I should have worn a suit, man. I feel bad for being underdressed. That's absolutely hilarious. I can confirm that I am also in grey shorts and barefoot as well. I think I'm literally wearing the same shorts as Andy. That is that's absolutely amazing. Andy's looking a little bit slimmer actually as well. Andy wouldn't be watching this, but if Andy is watching this, you're looking slim. I know he's working on his weight loss and stuff like that. This was the tweet, by the way, guys. Kennedy and Sal Niguez. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. Sal and Kennedy start. So yeah. So again, I would assume that does mean Alonso's benched. Far too many notifications coming through. Richarlison's not involved today, confirmed. There we go. So Richarlison's not involved at all, apparently. And he had about 1,000 questions regarding his suit rather than FPL questions. Yeah, I bet he did. Where did the Raptor name come from? It's because I'm a Toronto Raptors fan, so it came from NBA. As opposed to being dinosaur related, it's more Toronto Raptors related. What job would you have pursued if not for football or sports psych? Good question. Probably something like a lawyer or financial advisor. Probably. And he looked like he was going court after his live stream. To be fair, at least he made an effort. Andy is not amazing. Let's talk FPL is rubbish. That guy needs a sense of humour. Team Raptor. I appreciate the kind words about me. I'm not going to trash talk other FPL YouTubers. I think Andy's great. But yeah, everyone's got their own preference. Everyone's got their own preference for sure. I genuinely like all of the other YouTubers. I think Andy's great. I think Dan's great. Oscar's great. That's not me just being politically correct. I get on with all of them. So, yeah. I reckon Reece James starts then, which is quite annoying. There you go. Richarlison starters will be using their bench. So Richarlison is definitely confirmed out completely. Probably why he was out drinking every single night at like 5:30 in the morning after over the last few days. Sterling benched. Where was that? Is it Team News and Ticks again, or is he just... No. Latest news, Richarlison benched. Looks like Alonso's benched, but not 100% confirmed. Rumours actually that James starts, but we haven't had anything confirmed on that. I have to wait and see. Walker, Sterling and Grealish need a rest. There you go. So Rockstar's just tweeted, Walker, Sterling and Grealish need a rest. So hopefully none of you own them. City lineup posted. Where's who's posted the full team? Oh, I saw the leak before. Is that actually correct? That Arabic one. It was Hindu Monkey retweeted it, didn't he? Was it this? This might be correct then. Based on what we've just seen there, that looks like it is. So that's the City lineup by the sounds of things. Have we got any other news? Oh, City Extra have tweeted it. Okay, there you go. So Ake wasn't fit then. So it's Fernandinho. I kind of regret starting Laporte then, to be honest. I can't see a clean sheet there. Stones, Fernandinho, Laporte's not a great back line. What's the point of all of this after deadline? We have confirmed lineups within set. It's a bit of fun, mate. we're all engaged FPL managers. We always want to get that early team news. Yeah, there's no point to it. We're not going to gain anything, but it's just a bit of fun. LFC lineups out. Was it Spa and Cop? There you go. So Salah doesn't start. Trent does start. Robertson starts. That's pretty predictable, to be fair, that starting lineup. So that's the Liverpool team. What teams do we want me to check first, by the way? When it hits 3, what teams am I checking? Is it Chelsea we want to know? What other teams do we want to know? Are there any other players that we're desperate to find out? Oh, God. I've been sat down. How long have we been streaming? 3 hours. My leg has gone to sleep. If only deadline was... Yeah, if deadline was 1 hour before, we'd know for certain, wouldn't we? Yeah, Chelsea will be the first one. Leicester. Yeah, Leicester I want to check. Arsenal, Chelsea. Yeah, we'll check Chelsea straight away then at 3 o'clock. There you go. Got some early team news for Chelsea, guys. Sal Kennedy starting today. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Cesar Azpilicueta come in. Right, so Havertz and Mount do start. Sal Kennedy starting. I can't see a world in which Alonso starts then. The fact that Cesar Azpilicueta starts, I don't think that means that James doesn't start, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Azpilicueta at right wing back. Yeah, Spurs. Yeah, so we'll do Spurs, Chelsea, and Arsenal and Leicester. Those are the first 4 teams. Alonso is a number 9. God, can you imagine if Alonso actually starts as part of the front 3? I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I don't know why. I've just got a feeling. I've just got a feeling that I've got a feeling that Azpilicueta plays right wing back. We'll see. It doesn't matter now, but I just think it's his final game at home. I've got a feeling they play him in a more advanced position. No, I don't know. Hi, bro. Love your stuff. Thank you, Vitaly Plays. I mean, I appreciate that very much. Why Indians always complain and call other content creators rubbish? Yeah, I don't know if it's just Indians, to be fair. I think it's just everyone's always got a complaint about something, don't they? Honestly, this is cracking me up. Andy in a suit and shorts. This Vieira meme is just getting used all over the place. Ings not starting, fair enough. I really hope Wilson starts. I hope that tooth hasn't kept him out. That would be a bit annoying if I brought in Wilson and he's out due to his tooth. Why is he tweeting about Danny Ings? Rockstar must know that we don't really care about Danny Ings. He must just have the City team news. James and Alonso benched confirmed. I haven't seen James confirmed, sorry. I've seen Alonso, not confirmed 100%, but I've seen along those lines. Alonso about to go demon time if he plays up front. If Alonso plays up front, I am logging off for that. I can't deal with Alonso on my bench playing up front. Can you imagine? No, I can't see it, especially when Havertz is starting. You're a good man. I like your attitude, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tom Davies, John Joe Kenny, Jared Brentthwaite, Dele Alli, and Asmir Begovic all start for Everton. Jesus, we should have captained Saka. That is a rotated Everton team. Wowzer. By the way, guys, do go follow me over on Twitter. I'll just drop my Twitter in the chat. If you want to come follow me over on Twitter, at FPL__Raptor, we can actually update this now. Let's update this to 15,000 because we just hit it on stream. Look at that. Save. 15,000 YouTube subscribers. Nketiah hat-trick. Yeah, if Nketiah starts. I saw a few rumours that Nketiah was benched, but I think it was just people trolling. I don't think there's anything to worry about too much. How long have you been doing YouTube for? 9 months I've been doing YouTube. Yeah, 9 months. Basically, I started in August. I didn't really get pre-season. I started like a week before the season started. So this season, we're going to get a full pre-season. So yeah. Yeah, 1 more minute now. I'm going to get Chelsea's page up ready. All we care about really at the moment is Chelsea. And then, is FPL Prince your brother? No, but we do look very alike, don't we? Right, so as soon as it hits 3, I'll start refreshing and we'll get the... Didn't pay attention to the sub count at all. Congrats on 15k. Yeah, thank you. We hit it only about 20 minutes ago. Only about 20 minutes ago. Why are you called Raptor? Because of Toronto Raptors. What made you want to do your first video? I just love YouTube and I just wanted to get into content creation on YouTube. I love sitting there and chatting about stuff. Like, it's nicer to actually chat to people. I'm chatting to a camera. Like, when I'm looking, I'm not actually looking at you, of course. I'm looking at a camera. So I'm sat alone in my room, but I still feel like I'm chatting to you guys. And it just feels, it's fun. It's exciting. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy creating videos. I've always loved YouTube. I've always been that sort of guy that will sit down and watch YouTube videos rather than sit down and watch like series. I'd much rather sit down and watch YouTube. It's 3. Reece James starts. That's a bit of a pain in the bum for me. Good for you, those of you that that have Reece James. So Reece James does start. Looks like he could be in the right wing back role. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. So there we go. Obviously great. Stop looking at me. I'm on the bog. Obviously great news for James owners. Not great news for me because he's going to be fairly highly owned, and I own Alonso. Is Alonso not there at all? Is it? Am I going blind? Alonso's not there, is he? Alonso's not involved at all. Okay. That's the strangest thing in the world. Wowza. Okay. Was not expecting that. So Alonso not involved at all. Is he? Am I going blind? He's not on the bench, is he? I'm like looking at this. I do this all the time, and I realize that I've just missed their name. No, I don't think Alonso's there. Unless they've tweeted the wrong graphic there. It looks like that was it. Chelsea have just... Thanks. See you later. Arsenal, everyone wanted to know. Just make sure that Saka and Nketiah start. Yeah. Okay, that's a very obvious lineup, isn't it? Martinelli starts, Nketiah starts, Saka starts, as you would expect there. All right. What the other teams? Leicester, we want to check that the likes of Maddison, Vardy, Barnes all start. Vardy, Barnes, Maddison all start. Right, that's a fairly obvious lineup there. Tottenham, I get the Spurs boys should all be starting, but want to make sure that they are indeed fine. Yeah, crazy about Alonso that he's not involved at all. Son, Kane, Kulusevski, Royale, yeah, everyone starts. Okay, so Spurs' lineup is as you would expect as well. I just want to check, just quickly, just selfishly for me, I just want to check that Callum Wilson's starting quickly because I just brought him in, obviously. I just want to check. Yeah, Callum Wilson starts. Cool. That's an exciting transfer for me then. Who else do we want to check? Brentford, yeah, let's check Brentford. We already had the Liverpool lineup, so... Tony, Vissa, Mbeumo, Ericsson all start. Rico Henry starts. Raya starts. No Pickford yet. Everton's team sounds like... Wow, Saints are going to get hammered. Look at their team. Oh, yeah. That's not a great team, is it? I mean, it's not terrible. It's pretty much full strength. That's just their team. The only major difference is that there's no Bednarek's come out. Adams isn't playing. Right, let's have a look at Leeds. I thought Gelhardt was going to start. Is Gelhardt not starting? I predicted a start for him. Yeah, Gelhardt starts. Cool. I was trying to tell people that I thought Gelhardt would start, and everyone was telling me no, Bamford's going to start. I mean, Bamford's not even there. Yeah, Gelhardt's a good option. Nana Raptor brought in Gelhardt as well. Going on sofa score and seeing the teams would be better, I would say. Yeah, they take a while to update, though. They're not always on there straight away. I've been trying to tell people Gelhardt's a decent option. I like him. I think he could do well. What other teams? Is there any other players you want me to check or teams you want me to check? I want to see the Man United lineup just from... Obviously, I'm a Manchester United fan. Not specifically... Why is Man United not coming up there? Not specifically from an FPL point of view. De Gea, Lindelof, Maguire, Fred, Fernandes, Dalot, Cavani, Tellez, Elanga, McTominay. Hannibal starts. Get in. I quite like that team, actually. It's not a bad team at all. Not a bad team at all. When is Nana Raptor joining you in a video? I obviously don't live with Nana Raptor or near Nana Raptor. She lives like 3.5 hours away. So it's going to have to be a point when I'm home. The thing is, when I go home, I don't take my equipment. So hopefully at some point. She'll be on a video at some point for sure. I just don't know when exactly that will be. Check your Twitter DMs and see what I sent you. It's hilarious. What is it? I can't see anything. You've just said here. Is that what's hilarious? I can't see anything attached. It might have been deleted or something like that. I want to have a look at the Everton lineup quickly because apparently it is horrific. There is no video above, mate. It didn't attach when you sent it. It must have been deleted or it just didn't attach correctly. Jesus Christ, that is a horrific team. That is absolutely terrible. Begovic, Iwobi, Kenny, Holgate, Keane, Branthwaite, Davies, Decore, Gray, Calvert-Lewin, Dele Alli. I think that's Iwobi in at left wing back or right wing back. That's just a terrible team. That really is bad, isn't it? That is not great. Palace, yeah. Let's look at Palace. We got the Palace early team news anyway, but we can just confirm that. Mateta is benched, but we knew that earlier on in the stream anyway. Any other teams? West Ham. We'll look at West Ham and Brighton, I guess. I mean, there is a bit of rotation. It's not been that bad. Like Bowen and Antonio starting, fairly straightforward. Like I said, there's been rotation, but it's not been too shocking. Nketiah starting up front for Arsenal. Nketiah, Martinelli, Saka. Apologies. Is there no Trossard? Do you know what? I actually said in my video, I don't know if anyone watched my GameWeek preview video, I said, I can just see Graham Potter benching Trossard. I genuinely, I've got no reason for having said that. I don't know why. I just had a feeling. Is he not in there? Oh, he's not even in the team at all. Okay, so he's probably injured then. You would expect. But Welbeck starts. I know a few people took a punt on Welbeck. Ben White not starting is a surprise. Oh, I didn't see that. That is a surprise. Ah, okay, I didn't see that at all. Yeah. Ben White not starting is strange. He's not in the team. Oh, no, he is in the team. He is in the team. Okay, he's just not starting. What about City and Villa? We've already seen the team news for City and Villa, but we can have another look there. That's the City lineup there. Odds for a Watkins goal. With that defense, I wouldn't be surprised at all, to be honest. Aston Villa. Ings was the main one. Oh, Robin Olsen's getting his debut. That's going goal. Olsen, Cash, Chambers, Mings, Luca Dean, Douglas Luiz, Ramsey, Buendia, Watkins, Coutinho. Yeah, it's pretty much what you'd expect, but maybe you would have thought that Ings would be in there. Potentially. Villa's keeper's fine, by the way. Right, Robin Olsen, the keeper that they're giving the debut to, is an absolutely excellent keeper. I don't think there's much of a downgrade on Martinez. So I wouldn't be too stressed out about that. Hannibal playing. United's bench looks young for a change. I love seeing Hannibal in the starting 11. I want to see Garnacho starting as well, but yeah, obviously Hannibal's above Garnacho in the pecking order. Congrats on 15k, man. Love your channel. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate that. Let me just show you my team, by the way. That's how my team ended. So fingers crossed I don't need anyone off the bench because Alonso's not in the squad. So it's going to be Gordon or Cash. So I'm pretty sure all of my players are starting here, right? Can we confirm that, guys? They're all starting, aren't they? I think my entire starting 11 is starting. So I won't need my bench, which is great news. Unless anyone gets injured in the warm-up, which fingers crossed they don't. Foster's benched, was he? What is Backman playing? Interesting. When does the game start again? How long before next season? So I think the game will be launched end of June, beginning of July. I reckon we'll have about 4 weeks until the game's launched, maybe 5. So I think we're going to have a little bit of time. Don't think Gordon... Yeah, Gordon's not starting, exactly. So I really don't want that bench. Yeah, so I reckon the game will be launched... This is just a complete guess. It could be very, very wrong. I'd go for last week of June, first week of July, and then the season starts beginning of August. So about 4 or 5 weeks till the game goes live. 4 or 5 weeks till after that, the Premier League season will start. So guys, this is obviously my final stream, but there is one more video, just to let you know. I'm going to do a season review next week. It's going to get really, really terrible views because no one really cares. So if you're watching this and you think, I'd like to support Rapture a little bit more, just tune into the season review next week on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to basically be going through lessons that I've learned, mistakes that I've made, captaincy, transfers, different chip strategies. I'm going to try and learn from this season as much as possible and work out where I've gone wrong and where I can improve for the future. So if you're excited for that and you've enjoyed the content this season, please do check out that video next week. Like I said, it'll probably go live on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and that will be my final video for the season. This is my final stream of the season. And I just want to massively say thank you to everyone that's tuned into any of the streams, that's tuned into any of the videos. I appreciate it more than you know. And again, thank you so much. We hit 15,000 subscribers on the final stream. It went down to the final stream, but we finally did it, and I just massively appreciate that. So I think I'm going to finish off the stream here because it's been 3 hours and 13 minutes. If you have appreciated this, please drop a like on the stream. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And like I said, tune into that season review next week. And then it'll only be a few weeks. So enjoy your summer, enjoy the few weeks off from FPL, and then we'll be back for a full season once again. And hopefully there'll be less rescheduling and less double game weeks, and it'll be a slightly better, more normal season. Also, we're going to have World Cup fantasy as well. So in the over Christmas, when the World Cup's on, we're going to play whatever fantasy game is available there, and we'll be creating World Cup fantasy games, fantasy football content as well. I can see all the people in the chat saying thank you. I really, really do appreciate it. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning into all of these streams, tuning into all of these videos. I massively appreciate it. And if anyone wants to reach out over the summer, you know where to find me. You've got my email address down below. You've got my Twitter account as well. So only a few weeks. Make sure to recharge, re-energize, try and get off and away from FPL just for a few weeks, just re-energize, ready for the new season, and we'll be back better than ever. Lots of new content planned, lots of collaborations planned, and yeah, it's going to be a super season. So thank you all for watching. Massively appreciate it. Until next time, guys, thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye.